I've seen a flying saucer.
You've seen one?
Yes,
Where was this?
definitely.
Unidentified aerial phenomena.
To cover up our mistakes.
I've met people who swear they've seen Bigfoot.
Join us for a journey into the obscure.
You are now listening to The Wow Pod. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, welcome to the show. So you do, line the camera up again, Betsy. There we go.
Oh, yeah, I moved a little bit.
Yeah, you're
Sorry.
okay. You're okay. So you do paranormal girls.
It's one of them.
Okay. Wait. A pair of normal girl. That's so fantastic.
Well, that's
I
a
like
mother-daughter team, and I'm just an investigator. But yeah,
So
it's a good
you're
one.
not one of the pair?
I mean, a pair implies two, but there are actually 5 members, and then we have some honorary members as well.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Ooh, very cool.
Nice. So, and then, so you were formerly with Badass Spirit Outlaws.
Quite a name, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so would you do ghost hunts or?
Yeah, so paranormal investigating, we did a lot of residential. I think those are kind of the most fun. But we also had where we would do a lot of free events to help people build their psychic connection, or what do you call that? Public investigating. Yeah, just so anybody knows, this is Ryan Hodson. I have him here with me, so if you hear him, that's who's talking.
Yeah.
It's Oz, the
We
mysterious
could have Ryan
Oz.
slide in there next to you.
Yeah.
And get you both on
Then
there.
we could get
Yeah,
you
come
both
on,
in there.
Ryan.
So Ryan, do you do ghost hunting as well?
I do. Been doing it for, a couple years now. Been on and off with different teams, but I've been doing it for probably 10 years or so.
That's awesome.
Okay. Yeah. Now these teams, like you guys, people reach out to you and say, "Hey, we've got, bangs and bongs and you guys just kind of schedule a group and you guys go out."
At least with the team that we are on together with Hidden Realms Paranormal, we will schedule...
Move the mic just a little bit
sorry.
closer to.
So with Hidden Realms Paranormal, what we will do is we will schedule a time to go out and talk with them. When it's daylight hours, we'll do a baseline to figure out what the house stands as during, usually a time where things are just kind of busiest or whatever. You'll use a K2 to see, what the electrical readings are, and, can you debunk anything while you're there? It's kind of a main thing. How does it feel while you're there? A lot of...
Okay, like is it cold or how?
Yeah, like is
Well,
it cold? Is it hot? For me,
I pay
will
no
get,
attention
like-
to the spirit world. A ghost would come right through me. I wouldn't know, wouldn't
And,
recognize.
some people do. I've had where I have been in places and I'm like, oh, I can't breathe in here. Why does it feel like somebody's sitting on my chest? And I'll come out and find out that the house or wherever it is turned out to be an old tuberculosis recovery place. So I've had things like that happen. In San Diego, that was one of my experiences. So I think, learning to understand and pick up on things like that helps. But yeah, we'll come out, we'll do a talking to, we have like a 5-page interview sort of like, what's going on in each room? How old is everybody? Are you on any kind of psych medications?
That is a good question.
What?
I would never think to ask that, but that is a really legitimate question.
Yeah.
Well, the one time we went and we didn't do an investigation. We went and did an interview at a house, and we didn't ask any questions except what happened, and then walked us through the house. That was it.
Yeah, that was and again.
And me, I had running shoes on. I was, if something would have happened, there'd have been tracks.
So tell us how you got into this, both of you guys. Because how does someone get into doing investigations like this? Have you always been able to sense like a shift in energy or spirit or things of that?
Well, Ryan, why don't you go first here?
Mine was more just kind of weird experiences as a kid.
Move it just a little bit closer.
You know, as a kid, you know, every kid at some point is afraid of the dark, or they see something or something along that line.
Oh,
Seems like
Did I miss it?
I don't know if we lost the mic.
Dun,
Hold on
dun,
there.
dun.
Oh, it's
There
back.
it is. It's back.
Anyways, it was
It's gone again.
It's gone again.
Maybe that's not it.
Try it now.
How about now?
No,
Anything?
Did you jinx it?
this is.
We have said that we have a spirit in this room called.
Go ahead and tap on it.
No.
No.
Yeah, this
Wow. Okay. Well,
Apparently they don't want you telling your story.
apparently not.
Yep.
Leaking the secrets of
You're
the
back.
paranormal, I guess.
There
Okay.
you go.
Okay, well, let's try this for a third time. Pretty much, you know, it was. I had weird experiences as a kid, kind of type thing. Would see things that I didn't know were there. Anyways, as I got older into kind of like high school, things like that, I found more friends who were into the paranormal or knew about it more. So that's when I started kind of actually exploring it and started investigating. I do more of kind of the debunking side of the paranormal. Not that I haven't had weird experiences myself, because I have over the years. But one thing that I found with doing a lot of this kind of thing is, you know, if somebody says, I feel a cold draft come through here or something like that, sometimes it's because the insulation in the house is bad, or there's an open window and there's a cross breeze that comes through. So once you can eliminate those kind of factors of somebody experiencing something, if I can't physically explain it away, that's when I start to consider it as a paranormal
Very cool.
type experience.
Yeah.
So,
Very cool.
and then, like I said, I've just been doing it ever since.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and you go about it the scientific method.
I,
so
I
that-
think that's my go-to. Whenever I experience something really strange, I'm like, okay, so let's break this down. Could it have been A, B, or C?
Right.
You know, the weird noises and things. All right, let's find it. Let's try to recreate it. That kind of stuff.
You know, and your own senses are a good part of that. So I mean, if you know, get goosebumps because you think somebody's watching you or something like that, that's part of doing the investigation as well. So you want to trust your own instincts as well, because at some point everybody has, in my opinion anyways, has some type of ability or sensitivity to around what's around them. It's just your sixth sense, more or less.
Right.
So if you add that in with factors of, is it a floorboard that's creaking? Is it something that can be debunked away? If you can take that away plus your own feelings, that adds to the genuine type feel, or the genuine
Sure.
type of evidence that you might catch.
Sure.
And then if you can record that on photo, video, something physical, you know, that just adds to the credence even more. So
Very cool.
and it gives you a little bit of a scientific basis
exactly.
on the research. See, me when I went in, I was like, the whole time, what's the quickest way to the door? Do I run north or south when I get to the street?
He always says, I want to do a ghost hunt. I just want it to be unsuccessful.
Yeah, or well, it can be
I'm
successful.
like, you're planning an unsuccessful ghost hunt? What are we doing?
I'll do it from the van.
There you go.
Yeah, that's him. And then what about you? Do you
Scooch that back over. So probably my first experience, I remember being at my mother's parents' house, and there was this rocking chair, and I remember my great grandmother sitting there, and I had to be maybe a year and a half too. I mean, not quite old enough where you should be having like these strong memories. And my great grandmother being like, oh, you know, come here and welcoming me very joyfully, and, you know, like, just let me love on you kind of a thing. And to this day, it's one of my strongest memories. And people would say as I was growing up, like later, you know, that rocking chair, you know, it's haunted. It moves back and forth. We've seen it do it.
Okay. The grandmother saying, no, had the grandmother passed?
I found out in my teens she had passed about 5 years before I was
and
born.
you were
in
you were
surgery.
experiencing
So you were
spending
meeting-
time with her.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. See, that'll change you.
Yeah.
That'll make you a
And,
believer.
and you know, and it kind of is funny because
You're like,
I've had
"What do
a
you
lot of people
mean?
saying, "Oh, like you're the
What do you mean
weirdo 'cause
she-"
you believe in this," but that's kind of why you believe in it. And you know, when you have such strong experiences.
Yeah.
Ah.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Oh, that's yeah.
So we've got a couple people watching. Hi, Christy. Hi, Cody.
Hi.
Jeremy. James. Shirley's on. Lisa's watching. We've got to have Lisa on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, Lisa, we're calling you out.
That's right. Calling you out, Lisa. Lisa experienced, well, her sister experienced, and that's the first time I ever experienced anything really that I could not explain, was in their home as a teenager. And her sister experienced a lot of pretty traumatic things in that house. So,
Yeah. And it can be traumatic. And we have a person we're kind of working with both teams actually, and I was just telling him today, you know, whether or not people are going to tell you it's real to you.
yeah.
Those are your real
And it's fun.
experiences.
Yeah.
I mean, in his case, it's not so fun, but yes.
Oh, really?
Not every case
Yeah.
is a good one. Yes.
Oh, no, it's fun for me to hear about.
That's good for good entertainment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, if I found a ghost.
Lisa says, I have tried blocking it from my memory. I know. I'm sure Laurel has as well, but
Yeah.
boy, that would be that was the first and only ghost story from my teenage years. And I was
What
like,
about
all
the-
right, this
hold
is something
on.
I can't
What
explain.
about the Anderson house?
Now, that one wasn't scary. That is a house I would love to see if we could get you guys to go and investigate. They've been seeing Clara for years and years.
Interesting.
And the house it was, I think, the third house built in Grantsville proper, back before it was even, you know, a city. So it was when the pioneers first came over. And this little girl, you just see her on the stairs all the time, and she's just goes about her business. This house has the coolest little, they're like, Lisa says Laurel is still possessed. That's what I want to talk about.
Yeah, we'll set her up with Zoom. She can go to your house.
She could go to Lisa's. But they have all these little crazy walkways that are hidden behind closet doors and stuff.
Okay.
And that's where they first started noticing, like, just these weird sensations in there. And then they would be left open and closed. And they, you know, of course, thinking that, you know, it was the kids or whatever, they started locking them. They didn't want anybody to get locked in there, and they were just found open. And that would be a cool house to go do.
Most logical explanation, by the way. Blame everybody else.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's got to be the kids. Blame the kids.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that would be a cool house.
And it would be interesting, too, you know, talking with them. Do they keep seeing the same thing over and over? Is it a loop? Or,
Yeah, it's,
you know, is it...
from what I understand,
seems like it
seems
is.
like a replay.
Like,
'Cause
she's
so-
always on the stairs at the same
Yeah, so
time of
something
night.
like that, I don't think you really could even get rid of that energy because it's just energy that's, you know, has stayed.
Yeah, it's what's considered like a residual type on it.
Right.
Yeah.
Classify it as mostly, and essentially it's like a video that's playing on a loop.
Yeah.
Talk to us.
Yeah.
Let her
Energy
talk.
that's kind of been released into the environment, and the environment's kind of retained it over the years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be a
So
cool
it's a emotional memory on the
Any-
fabric of time, or
Yes.
Exactly.
yes.
Anything that has a lot of strong emotion to it, whether it's good or negative, anything like that, tends to leave a presence somehow in the area that it happens.
Yeah, and you don't even, like, let's say that as a child you had a very happy home and you were laughing all the time. You could still be alive and go to that house and they're like, we hear this little girl laughing all the time. And it could be you because that's just energy. It's stayed. So
You know
it's
what?
not necessarily
I'll tell you what
everything is
energy my
bad.
boys left in our previous homes. It was
Push
bloodshed.
that mic between you guys, and
Okay.
I'm gonna dial the gain up, and we'll see if we can
Okay.
share.
Yeah. if we're talking energy left behind, I had 3 rough boys, so they left a special kind of energy in our previous homes.
Christy wants to do a ghost hunt. She says,
I
"I want to run the van. I want
Yes.
a white van, no windows. You know,
6
like
blocks away.
CIA van.
Yeah, so a Nerf Center van. Is,
5 would probably be fine, Betsy. It doesn't have to be 6. Walkie-talkies, radios, maybe remote feed. all the stuffs, and I'll sit in the van, and then when you guys are running out of the house being chased by a ghost, I'll reach over and push the knob down.
Not let you in.
Yeah.
And essentially leave us there.
And
to
you
our
know,
own.
and that kind of brings us to an interesting point, I think, is if you can't tolerate it, probably shouldn't be doing it. If you're too afraid to listen to what they have to say, because a lot of times I will get Sarah, leave, get out now on, when we do short burst EVPs or anything else.
Really?
The house I was just telling you about where the guy's having some really traumatic stuff. I was there and he's like, let's just play this back really quick. And it was like, Sarah, and I was like, all right. So if
Switching
you
that
can't stomach
off,
it,
putting it in
probably,
the little bag.
yeah. Like, 'cause
Bag
it
on
can-
the shoulder.
It can be scary.
Is that the quickest way out, or is the fire escape maybe?
Closest entrance is
Yes.
there.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is
So-
the fire escape got those handles that might scar my hands up? Can I slide down that bad boy quick, fireman style?
So, when did you? So beyond that rocking chair, that's the stuff that counselors are made for. I'm to be thinking about that for weeks. So beyond the rocking chair, were you just interested in it?
I was interested in it. However, it wasn't until I had the worst experience of my life, which kind of leads us to scary stories, that I really pursued it more.
That made you pursue it?
It made me pursue it because I had such an experience that it was just, I didn't know what to do. I had called my pastor.
Okay, we
I
gotta
went
hear.
to the Catholic Church. I'm like, what is going on? And when you talk to people and they're in, and I am Christian. I in no means mean to offend anybody, but when you go to somebody who's in the clergy or something, and they're like, the war's already been won, or, what else? Are you schizophrenic?
Yeah.
I'm trying to tell you I have something that happened. It was very traumatic. And I get that you have these questions. We ask them too. But at the same time, like I said, your reality is your reality, and you need somebody to talk to.
Was this after you had already started hunting? Or
No, this was
Okay.
this was before. I
How
sort of,
old were you?
This was maybe 2014. Actually, no, it was 2014 now that I think about it.
Okay, so
2014, my health had just went in the crapper. I am every organ was failing, nothing. I had a huge benign tumor in my uterus, just bleeding. They put me on medications. The medications caused me to have blood clots. I had 2 blood clots inside my right ventricle of my heart. That's one of your 4 chambers. At the same time, I, was going to the doctor, something's terribly wrong. And they're like, no, you're young. Don't worry about it. I'm like, no, it's my heart. Something's wrong. No, it's fine. Yeah, I passed out, and they're like, oh, yeah, by the way, you have 2 blood clots in your heart. Had to have emergency
so
open
what we
heart
told
surgery.
you before, forget about that.
Yeah, they're like, well, how could we know? You're young, And you are your own advocate. If you feel something's wrong, by all means, push it until you get the help you need. I don't care if you have insurance, don't have insurance. That needs to be a first.
Sure.
But yes, I'm home. I had PTSD, just all this stuff. And I, by all means, was not in any place to be thinking about investigating, anything like that. And I'm sleeping up in the middle room upstairs. And I'm just praying, why is all this happening? I don't understand. I was going to school to be I was getting my pre-med out of the way. I already had my BA in psychology, and I wanted to go and change that so I could be a neurosurgeon. And I'm like, why is all this stuff happening? My whole life I was told, push. And now I'm being told, stay at home. We don't want you doing anything. We don't know when you're going to die.
Yeah. Slow down. Something's happening.
Yeah. So, that was just a lot. I was not really on the medications or anything anymore, but so it got to where, this is by all means the weirdest part of it. I'd start to go to sleep at night, and I would hear somebody had a radio on. And what it sounded like to me was 1980s John Mellencamp. Now, I'm not saying it was John Mellencamp, but it was just that, you kind of can hear that little humming, what is that? And I'd open the window, the neighbors out, it's midnight. No, there's no music out there. And so every night I'd start hearing this, and I'm like, why am I hearing this? And I'm praying harder and just, what's going on. And I start having these nightmares, and I am just talking all out. I wear a CPAP mask, so you're not going to hear me screaming, but you could hear me screaming through the entire house. They were bad. I'd wake up in tears, crying, just,
So through the CPAP mask and
Yeah.
everything.
Yeah. So it was just really, really bad. And
Same nightmare?
not necessarily the same nightmare, but it was the same thing. I was seeing what I can only describe as demonic. And why I say that is because it would be people appearing to me like people I know, my grandmother, my mother, whatever it is. And the reason why I would know that they were demonic and why I could call them out in the dream, because I'm a very good lucid dreamer, I guess, is that there's always something a little off. I mean, it's going to look like your mom, but
Not quite.
not quite. There's something off, whether it's that they have a deformed pinky or, and that's kind of like, for some reason, for me, demonics cannot completely 100% recreate the human they're trying to appear to be.
So it's something small off that you really have
They
to
get
pay attention
just
to.
close enough.
Yes.
Just close
Yeah.
enough.
And if you're not paying attention, it's very easy to trick you. And, so, I mean, it was to the point where, here I am, 33, 34. My mom is now sleeping in bed with me again at night because I live with my parents. I've had this stuff happen. So I'm like, Mom, I can't sleep. I haven't slept in days. Like, this is just going on and on. And I'm hearing this, scratching and snarling. And it's not out. It's like not in the room, but outside, like in the hallway on the door. And I know it's not the dogs. They're in there with you or they're in here with me. But, and the dogs are kind of growling. And so my mom comes and sleeps with me. And like, she kind of tells me, I didn't want to tell you this last night because, you were freaking out. But I heard that music too when I went to lay down. And I was like, well, okay. So again, I'm just praying, continually reading my Bible. I've got to figure, that's really my only source that I could go to because like I said, when I love the people I have in my life that are religious. However, when you go to somebody and they say, the battle's already been won, that's not really much help to me when I'm in the middle of it. So anyways, I was in the middle of the dream and it had happened where it come and it was my grandmother and I was like, no, you're not my grandmother. I can see, again, the pinky's off. You're not my grandmother. And it stood back and completely changed form, and it became quite huge. And I have seen angels before, and they are big enough to where they have to actually crouch down when they are in your room unless they take on the human form of themselves. And so I knew, yes, they're going to be big.
You just opened up the next questions, but go on.
Okay. I know, it's a handful to talk about. Anyways, so it was sort of like a out-of-body experience within my dream where I could say the Holy Spirit began talking to me or talking through my voice. I was kind of outside of my body watching. It was really surreal. And it said, like, you have no power here. You need to go. You need to go back to where you came from. This, you're going to go. This is what's going to happen. And it said, you have no authority, you don't know the thing you need to know. And it was like, what, you think I don't know your name? That's what it means. And it said the name, and then the thing left. And what was really interesting at the time is I was told, you have the power of demonomy. I didn't know what that word was. I had never heard that word.
Okay, here we go. Now, that other question's pushback. What's demonomy?
Demonomy? Apparently,
he's Nemo.
It means you have the power over demons.
Oh.
So I have had this belief for a very long time. I think that you can be where you are being oppressed because you're weak-minded and it's easy for them to get to you and you just like that. However, I think also if you don't have the right state of mind with your faith or whatever it is you need in check, and I'm not saying you have to be Christian, whatever your faith is, but if you have a gift like that is so strong and that's what you're meant to be out there doing, then they are going to attack you when you are least expecting it and take you down.
So you're kind of a natural threat.
Exactly. And I kind of feel like that's why all of that started happening at once. And I will swear to you on this, right in here for everybody. After I woke up from that, I have never had anything happen since. I have never had a bad dream, anything like that.
Did you feel, did it empower you? It
did. And so I started looking around and talking to people, and I reached out to Paul Welch, who was one of the founders of Badass Spirit Outlaws, and he, eventually it was, you have a really good gift, come on the team.
You guys need a theme song for a name like that.
Yeah, unfortunately it is disbanded. But yeah, it's and then the founder of our team, Nate Morgan, Hidden Realms Paranormal, he actually was one of the people from this team. We have a few people on the team that were originally from this one.
So this demonomy.
Demonomy.
So the thing. Do you?
I snort laugh. Just don't mind me. Okay.
No, that's good. That brings the show to the next level. So, if you go, say, on a hunt and you come across a evil entity, are you then kind of pushed up front while everyone else backs out the door to fight it? Or?
It's a team effort. We all play our roles. We all have our parts.
You need a driver?
we're so I think we have people in Orem and Clearfield and Kearns, you'd be driving all over the place just to you need a bus just to go and start 2 days early.
Oh, okay.
Unfortunately.
Well, I could definitely see myself being a part of a ghost hunting gang, but I don't go in the bank. I don't point at the manager. I don't go into the vault.
Well, and
I'm a will man.
This leads to something else too. I mean,
and don't expect me to be there when I hear screaming inside the building.
Strictly
I'm a
for
terrible
ghost
will
hunting.
man.
That's something we're actually paranormal investigators, so that means we will go even look for Bigfoot. We'll go look for UFOs.
That's very cool.
So, maybe if you're more interested in doing something like that and not sitting in the car.
He's not.
Hey, I got my Kegel food game on point.
I know we were trying the Randonautica a few months back, trying to see, they supposedly you can figure out where's Bigfoot and it'll take you. But
what's a ram?
It's an app, Randonautica.
Yeah,
really?
It finds anomalies in.
Supposedly, I don't know. I haven't.
So I've done a couple. They were pretty cool. I'll have to tell you about.
Did you find what you were looking for?
It's about manifestation. So I believe very deeply, and I didn't until recently. But what you manifest, the universe always says yes. So whatever you manifest. So you spend time in meditation and manifestation, and then you do the Randonautica.
All right. So
maybe my 5-minute meditation may not have been enough.
It's supposed to find an anomaly.
I should be saying Sunday. Not the day. Banana split.
So Laura says that's how it started at her house. Her and her girls always heard music playing in the background. Is that a common theme? Do you think it's because it's something that you couldn't mistake?
I looked everywhere to try and I was like, what is going on? Because I have to have ear plugs in, and I have my face mask. I even have a cover, I'm completely my mom laughs because she's like, we could have a fire alarm and nobody would know you were even in there.
You shut out all senses to sleep.
I have to. I just absolutely have to. I can't.
Well, if you're sensitive to the spirits and they're
and they like to talk a lot more at night, so
that was
and they're everywhere.
That's my next question, because you have other abilities other than demonomy?
I
demonomy?
dream.
Did I say that right?
I'm a dreamer. In fact, I've had some interesting times where I've dreamt with Ryan. Well, not with him, but I've sent, I saw a bunch of dragons, and I'm like, Ryan, I know we just started talking, but why am I seeing dragons in these dreams? And it had you there, and he's like, yeah, I collect dragons.
Oh,
so you,
yeah.
wow.
So when you're dreaming, if I show up, let's think banana split. I could go for one of those. Steak, yes.
But do you dream in black and white? I dream in color. And I dream very.
I don't ever remember.
I remember my dreams. I dream in color. I can smell things. I can taste things. Now
so
they say you can't, but I do.
Lucid dreamer is what they call it.
I think that's what it's called. I don't really know. Trying to label yourself sometimes is yeah.
Okay.
They say the lucid dreaming. There's you can train yourself to do that. So.
I wish I could train myself to undo stuff.
Les says, let's go.
Yeah, Les is all about finding Bigfoot now.
He says he's even down for a ghost hunt. Jared is down for an unsuccessful ghost hunt.
Yeah. Let's do a ghost hunt at the brand new house built on the street next to mine. Brand new. The house is, it doesn't have shingles on it yet. That doesn't matter. Let's go have a
Well,
look.
you know, we have an event, Benson Ghrist Mill.
Yeah.
That's, you guys know the location. No,
We
not
do.
gonna lie. October 24th at 9 p.m. And they're gonna have door prizes. I know I oil paint, so I'm gonna do a custom oil painting for anybody that wants one.
Okay,
or-
so what's this event? Tell us.
It's so that we're gonna actually investigate the park. The mill, the last time I was there, they did see a full body apparition within the first hour, which actually speaking, let me get here.
Okay, how do we sign up? People, are you paying attention?
Yes.
So if you just go to the Hidden Realms Paranormal, where I'm trying to think of where that is.
Is it on? Do you guys have a Facebook
Yeah,
page?
it's the Facebook page.
Yeah.
Okay, hidden-
I think I'm already a member of it, but there
Well-
will be links. Just go to the show notes, and I'll just put all the links in there, all where to.
Hidden Realms Paranormal.
This is before we got the apparition scene. I took that photo. There's nobody in the building yet. The park was completely shut down. And there is clearly a man wearing a suit standing in the upper third floor window.
Yeah, and he's throwing some stink eye out too.
Yeah, and I, if you know, I think it's Nick Riggs actually had told
Oh,
me
no.
he's captured the same guy, but
No.
a different day, different window.
Okay, hold on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
What she'll do is, I'll have her forward that to
you
me.
can see that. Look at that.
I took that photo, by the way,
And then you went in. And then you went in.
and then we went in. Yes.
So they see this, and then
You
they
can
went
see
in.
right in the center top pane. You see his head, and then as you go down, you see a collar, and then a suit jacket.
You
Yep.
can even see like facial features.
Yep.
Okay, all right. What's your scariest encounter outside?
Hold on.
Outside of the dreams.
Hold on. The demon. What did it look like? And then the angels.
Oh yeah. Jared needs to know about the,
I
the
got-
size of angels.
I mean, it's just the size of angels is just like if I'm standing here, it's like this whole thing is just floor to ceiling corner of the room.
What do they
Angel.
look like?
They can either be pure light,
Uh-huh.
or they can have, the angel wings. You can see that. I've had the Archangel Michael appear to me, and he, oddly enough, was just sitting in my chair and woke me up one night like, hey, let's talk. So it really,
You just can't wait.
and that's the thing,
What
too.
did he say to you? What do you want to
It
talk
was just
about?
more like, I'm here with you. Hey, do you like music? I mean, it was just a general, it was a really weird, I'll have that where I wake up and I will
What kind of
just
music
see
does he like?
country.
Country.
Yes.
music.
Soccer.
And I don't listen to country, so for me to think that one in my head.
Man, that'd been awesome. He'd been like, come out. Man, that Led Zeppelin, that was, all that symbology on all their stuff.
Yeah.
So,
This one was in my house. Just so you guys know, I'll tell you about
Okay.
that one too. We had got a chair from the DI. It was red leather. We kept smelling cigar smoke, like pipe smoke, tobacco everywhere. And my brother was getting really angry and like, what's going on? And we were blaming everybody's like, I know you're the one smoking. Like, so anyways, I took a picture. This was above the chair. We got rid of the chair the next day. My brother drew that illustration so you could see kind of what we were seeing. Because some people say, well, I can see a cat or I can,
now he
have
drew
different
the
things.
illustration
Yes.
on the left.
The one that's a drawing.
Okay, which one's a drawing?
One
This-
is a photo and the other
This
one
is
Okay.
a
is a
drawing.
drawing.
This is a photo.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I do see two eyes.
You can see there's a pipe. Like, yeah.
And you were just smelling it.
We were smelling it all throughout the house.
That's again a common thing.
Smells.
Smells.
When you buy a chair from the DI.
I mean, nothing against the DI. I'm just saying we
No,
returned
just
it the
like-
next day. And then after that, we didn't have the incident.
No,
So,
just
I
like
don't know if you guys can even see that.
with-
Yeah, hold that up, Betsy. See if
with
you can.
hauntings, it's a common thing that there's a new unidentified smell. Okay, so the colored picture, it's almost creepier.
It looks like a face out of Mordor on the Rings movie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Yeah, that is a common thing for people who are sensitive to, energy or spirit, whatever it is oftentimes it's associated with a smell.
now okay. Michael likes country music. he come down and chat with you. Just went total teenage conversation.
It was just he was wearing like a blue plaid cowboy shirt, like had the buckle. It was just really.
Did he identify himself as Michael?
I had
you
to ask
just
him.
knew?
I asked him. I was like, "Who are you?"
And how did you get into my house?
Yeah, I mean, I've had that. I was married before, and we were at my grandparents' house, the same house with the rocking chair, and we had just gotten married. We're in this middle bedroom where there's always weird activity in there, and I saw a little girl sitting on the bed, and I was talking to her like telepathically, I guess, and my husband was like, "Who are you talking to?" And I'm like, "The little girl right here." Like, you don't see this little girl. Like, I don't know. I've always had weird. The best one, my grandpa, when he died, it was like about 7 a.m. and I think it's like 11:30 at night. We were all sleeping in the same room, by the way. And I hear this, and I used to tell him, when you die, you come tell me you're okay, because he was gifted like me, and he would tell me, I don't talk to people about it because people don't believe you. They make fun of you, But I said, when you die, you come tell me. And so he woke me up. I was dead asleep, and he goes, ooh, ooh, and I woke up, and I was like... like that face, like, what am I, it was, Papa, is that you? And he just started laughing, and it was like one of the better moments. So they're not all bad. It's not all,
Yeah.
I think that was probably one of my favorite moments, actually. But
He's like, I'm a ghost.
Oh.
yeah, I knew. He was like, I'm the ghost. I'm here. And he was a real prankster. Like, kids would actually come up at 7 a.m. walking to school and like ring the doorbell because he'd like chase them out because he was just really funny. And so he was a really great guy.
Yeah, that's
hilarious.
Yeah, that's great. That's hilarious. Fantastic. Can we? Okay, now we've covered demonomany, and we've talked about what the angels look like. The demon, did he have bat wings, horns?
It was more like, do you remember the Dracula, the Bram Stoker one that Francis Ford Coppola put out when Winona Ryder,
The
they
one
get
with
caught?
where he had that goofy hair.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah,
You're fine.
yeah. So that moment where like they're in the insane asylum and they walk in on them, and then he turns into that really weird, like, he looked kind of like that, but not. That's the best sort of description I can give as far as like the creepiness of it, but then also like a weird, creepy, extended Joker face. It wasn't great. It was very terrifying, actually, which is why I was screaming every night and crying. And
Just shocking.
yeah, I know,
Okay.
right?
Now for the big question. Do you feel something in this house?
I mean, I haven't walked the whole house, and I think that would be not great for me to say yay or nay, having known that I've only walked from the living room down a hallway and into this room. And I think anybody who walks into your house and says, yeah, I put the spirit outside or whatever, like, come on.
You got to question their
I'm
motives.
sorry, but no. That's not how it
But
works.
you don't?
I don't feel anything. There's a little bit of energy in this room, but then again, you have a lot of equipment, and that is part of why people feel stuff as well.
Sure.
Ryan, you're more of a...
Just your environment, people sometimes that are feeling a presence or...
So I'm feeling a cold draft coming from the direction of my AC vent.
Could be the
That's
AC
probably
vent, could
it.
be the window behind you, something to think about.
I hear a whimper every once in a while from the area of my
Oh
lap.
my gosh. That is, by the way, the cutest dog.
Wait till you see her with the haircut, but she is a pain in the butt. Neediest animal I've ever owned.
Oh, well, you know what? My dog is on Xanax because whenever I leave the house, I have to give her stress medication. Like,
Where do you get doggy Xanax?
the
Is that
doctor,
through,
the vet.
is that through Chewy or?
No, this is what's funny. So I get a full milligram. My mom, she weighs 100 pounds lighter than me. She gets a half. My dog's on a half a milligram.
How much you reckon you just have to lick it, wouldn't you, Dozer?
She's so stressed. She takes a full 100-pound woman amount of Xanax.
What does the dog do that?
She just, it's like licking and vomiting, and she
Oh.
just really
She
gets
gets
herself worked
separation
up.
anxiety.
Yeah, exactly, yes.
Yeah, lots of dogs get it.
Man.
She loves me that much.
That's
Yeah.
right.
So, okay, so we've
So,
nothing in this room
and you,
because we did we opened a Ouija board in here on the show, and
it was,
it corrupted.
we bought it from Amazon, and it was literally made of cardboard.
yeah.
They are.
Yes.
Yeah, unless it's handmade. And I honestly, I don't like working with them. I don't want to work with them, but to each their own.
Oh well, neither of us knew what we were doing, but
That could be the
but
worst
a video got
thing to do.
corrupted later on off 2 computers.
Yeah,
So-
I had edited it.
so we
had
called
both
the-
watched it.
We figured we got haunted by the demon Cardboardo is what we call him.
That's his official name.
Well, I mean, you have 2 things. So, and a lot of people don't realize this. So you have the Ouija board, which is where you're asking for a entity to speak to you using the board. They're controlling the board. You're not in control of it.
Yeah,
Then
he
you
just sat
have-
there. I had a very important question.
One question is all he had.
Yeah, just one question, and we sat.
Yeah, he just wanted to know which way to hang the toilet paper roll.
It's over. There's pictures of it. I've seen
over.
it. It's
You go
over.
mullet.
You go mullet.
I think it's actually
So you
It's not under. It's not under.
so you have to go in. Hold on. Over towards you or behind.
No, for like
That's,
So you've got
that's the-
bangs.
yes. Yeah,
Bangs is coming
Sorry,
towards
not
you.
mullet bangs.
So
yes.
you can see it, and otherwise you got to sit and fish
If
for
you
it.
look at the original diagram for how to use toilet paper, it's online. You will find it.
Why did we
Yes.
go to Cardboardo to ask that question?
I'm
He told
telling
us nothing.
Yeah, because they don't really need to go to the bathroom unless it's a pure
I don't
pleasure
know.
thing. No,
I don't-
I asked the other day.
I reckon they have. I reckon they have the same toilet paper I have out at work down there because it's hell, and there's got to be punishment.
Because it's hell.
The same type of toilet paper they have at work. What else would
Oh
they
my
have?
gosh, what is that? The one ply itchy.
Scots or whatever.
It'd be single ply made of almost pulverized pine. I'm talking slivers. There's Band-Aids commonly have to be followed up. Neosporin. It's a whole affair.
You know what? We have issues as ladies that have to go with a whole different realm, but also from that. So I
See?
get it.
Yes.
You know.
I'm Charmin extra soft all the way from
Yeah, the little bear where it's real squishy. Like
I'm
if you-
like, in fact, double that, triple it up will be even better.
Yeah, I mean, you get like 7 squares off of it, and it's this big around. That's the way to do
So
it.
if you like talking about this, you would love Nate because all we do is talk about poop all the time. If you come to any of our investigations, I guarantee you it will be a topic of conversation. It will be said.
So
Well, I mean,
Norma says Joe flies in his dreams a lot. You'll have to ask him, Norma. Does he like fly to other places, or does he just like kind of fly around his space? And then Jana wants you guys to introduce yourselves. And
Yes.
where
Again,
what
Jana's
group are you with?
a latecomer. So
Okay.
yeah, go ahead and introduce yourselves again. Just
Okay. So my name is Sarah Cooke. Cooke has an E at the end, so Cooke.
yeah, Cookie.
It's like cookie, but it's Cooke. Supposedly there was a drunk, and my grandparents didn't want to be associated with them, so they put an E at the end, solved the problem.
It's a whole career.
So we are both on the team Hidden Realms Paranormal of Salt Lake City, and I do stress it is of Salt Lake City because there is a group in the UK also called Hidden Realms Paranormal. Ryan Hodson. Hi, Ryan. He's
Ryan
on the
Hodson.
team with me. I'm also on a team called Pairo Normal Girls. And then I'm also with what's called Earthbound Mystics. And those are, you can go on there and ask questions, and anybody who's a confirmed mystic, of which I am, they can answer it. But they are psychics, mediums who have actually been through the test and vetted. So they have been confirmed, and it's not, in fact, Jennifer, this is a great story. We have another girl on our team, Melissa, who had I don't know if it was a family member or a friend, but somebody had went missing over the weekend. I think it's like maybe Thursday or Friday. And so Jennifer had seen the missing thing on Paranormal Girls, and she said, this guy, they need to go look where there's a river trailhead where they go walk. And they've been searching for him, 3-4 days at this point, I think. And so I told Melissa, and Melissa said, we'll go look based on that. They found him. So these people are for real. They know their stuff. It gives me chills even thinking about it. I wish I was even that talented, but
Very
definitely,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah.
So, how busy do you stay with all of these? Do you guys get a lot of calls?
I mean, we're not doing a lot of residentials for the hidden realms, paranormal. We're still fairly new. Within the last, I think, April, May, we've done 2 or 3 house cases. We do every month. We do free event, whether it's a cold case where you can come and we'll say, hey, here's a piece of paper, don't open it, tell us what you get, and you'll find 5 out of 7 people all get the same thing, and it's about this missing persons case. And so you can do that, or it alternates. So the next month is psychometry. It is in a
Okay, another word.
psychometry.
Demonomy
and psychometry. Psychometry is essentially holding an object and feeling the energy that is
Attached to it.
And
Okay.
it is in an antique, what do you call that? Like an antique store where you can go buy antiques, and next to a mortuary. Yeah.
Oh, so
That
now you mentioned something early on when we started chatting about dolls.
Yes.
Now that creeps me out a lot. I saw that Annabelle, and
You're not the only one.
and I've heard about
Not a fan of them myself.
and I've heard about, what is it, Daniel?
I stay away from them. They give me the creeps.
Is it Daniel? He's a little.
the little sailor boy doll from.
Oh,
the
yeah.
Lighthouse.
The one
Yeah.
that Ozzy Osbourne keeps destroying,
Yeah.
the little replica. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So dolls are interesting. If you look into Amish culture, their children are not allowed to have faces on their dolls because they believe that they can be possessed and that can come into your
faceless
home.
doll is so much worse.
Yeah, it does seem boring. Yes, I know.
Remember Presley's doll?
He had to make it into a taco doll.
The face got worn out because it's our niece, and so the dad just sewed it all together, and it was just
Looked like a taco. I was like, this isn't gonna work. This is terrible.
and
So
she still had to have it all the time everywhere she went.
dolls can be possessed.
There's 2 types of possession, and you only really hear about the demonic possessions. Humans are able to have a temporary hold on you as in a possession form
Humans,
as well.
like human spirits, like
Yes.
passed on.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah, so it may not be, for the rest of your life, but it could be, 5 hours, 5 days.
Yeah.
They're going to be short because they don't have the
Like
energy
Phoebe
to
on
sustain
Friends.
I
the
love Phoebe.
old lady that possessed her.
it. Yes, that's the best one, where she had to go see the lesbian wedding. I love that episode.
Now I've seen it all.
She's my spirit animal.
Okay, so human possessing human, or
Or we would call that maybe channeling might be a better word.
Okay.
You could call it channeling. But the thing with possession is versus channeling. Channeling, you're saying, hey, I'm giving you access.
right
Talk
permission.
through me. Possessions, like, I don't care what access you're giving me or not. I'm taking you over to, yeah.
So someone asked,
What are some of the things that's happened under the people possession?
It's
Can I make up the word for that? Possession?
possession, sure.
Yeah.
I won't complain. We'll put it in the dictionary. We'll just write a new paranormal book and put it in there.
Hey, $1 million idea.
So, with dolls, I would say what the weirdest thing is, I've seen people who are not in great form mentally. I'll talk specifically, Virginia City, we have a teammate, I love her to death, and I'm not going to say her name so she can have anonymity. Is that the word I want to say? I always feel like I say that wrong. Anyways, but she was like, I really want a haunted object, but she had been kind of a little bit down. She had had some stuff happen, before the trip to Virginia City. And then we see this doll, and I see it at the same time as, Jennifer, and I'm like, yeah, that doll's haunted. And I'm like, I'm leaving because I can hear it in my mind, not speaking to me, but in my mind, I can hear it by me. And I'm like, no.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I'm like, that's the first place
Calling
you say
to
no.
Oh, my gosh.
Nope, sorry, not gonna happen, little doll.
Oh.
And so Jennifer's like, hey, why don't we have so-and-so come down here and, get the doll because they've been wanting this haunted object. And, then holding the doll. And this seems to be what I've seen a few times now, is that they hold the doll like the doll is their baby. It's the only thing keeping them grounded. That is the life of, their love life right there is this doll. It's happened in every single instance. I've seen this happen.
So is it the doll that's possessed, or is it a kind of a transfer of that negative energy to the person through the doll?
I mean, that's really, it's all theory, unfortunately. I mean, how really one way could I prove that, which way it is? I felt like in this case that it had been a little girl who had been highly molested, and we talked with some other people, and so kind of like her version of love was different from what a normal version of love was. And so it started to become like everybody hold me, everybody love me, everybody and so
we have someone asking, so do you remove demons?
We do different things. Ultimately, we can do what we do, which will help. And I would say 99% to get rid of it. At the same time, there are different factors,
So old priest, young priest.
Well, if you aren't willing to let it go, it's not going to
So
go.
the demon may be hanging on to the person.
It also could be the land. It could be your neighbors. It may not even be.
That'd piss me right off.
I mean, they say, hey, keep to yourself, do what you do in your own space. But when it comes to spirits, I mean, who's to say that this didn't used to be, let me go back to a different story. When I lived in Alaska, I lived what used to be the old red light district. They had taken a bunch of mini apartments and made them into one giant one. This was my place. I found if I slept on a certain part of the place, I would wake up and see people. So I learned, okay.
And you'd see people going in and out of the red light, so it was either flapper girls and...
It was like really mean prostitutes who didn't want you in their space for their money.
Mother flower.
Or the best one, I moved in, it was that night... it was, hey, didn't mean to wake you up. My name's Arnold. I used to live here. Just wanted to say hi.
Used to live here every Thursday, 7:30.
I was like 22, I think, and I was like, So I found out you can go to the library and look up who used to live there from the census, and I found out there was a dentist that used to live also and work in that building named Arnold Pendergrast. So that was kind of a really cool way to verify. Yeah, and I didn't feel as crazy after that because I was like, you know what, if I can. But, I totally lost my train of thought. But
so the question was, do you remove demons?
Okay. Yeah. So what going back to that now. You would find like there may be a space where they have access to where other, they're kind of.
Like a doorway or a gate or.
Like a gate or a fence. Like they're fenced into this certain area. So if you have a property that used to be a huge farm and the farmer had all of that land, why is he going to stay to your one little corner of the property?
Now that it's all been subdivided. Got it.
So I think that those are kind of, I would like to say, hey, I can go in there and, you've never had stuff until you brought in a Ouija board and we can get it. But 9 times out of 10, people don't want to admit to stuff they've done. And not that that's every case, but...
But Cardboardo's like a 14-year-old cat. I reckon he sleeps 13.79 hours a day, wakes up, interrupts what he can, and then he just falls over right there and curls up, fetal position, back to sleep. He's not messing around too much.
But you have to remember too, not everybody goes and buys the cheap cardboard ones. Some people are just taking a plain piece of paper and
creating their own.
I'm making this, I think that can be a big thing. And going back to that a little bit is, so there is that. And I was saying, if you use that, that's actually inviting something to come work with you.
Oh, yeah, we did everything wrong that day, too. Didn't say goodbye.
Yeah, you got to close it. And there's so much. I'm so afraid I wouldn't do it right. I wouldn't even want to mess with it.
We did it exactly wrong.
Maybe doing it exactly wrong was doing what was right for yourself.
Could be. He didn't tell me nothing about toilet paper that day.
But you also have what's called a spirit board. A lot of people will work with that in the community, and that's more using a pendulum, a stone.
It's got yes and no, and
exactly, and it looks a lot the same. And people will tell you, oh, that's. You're calling a demon, but no, you're using your own energy. You already know that answer in yourself. You're just calling it out through your own energy. So,
okay.
It's like remote viewing. I did a big, long course on remote viewing this past summer.
Tried. I was not I'm not. No.
not very intuitive.
No.
Well, so now do you guys work off each other? Like you can feel when they're feeling bad or?
Well, we're siblings. I've known her since the minute she was born. So
Yeah.
we can read each other pretty well.
Yeah,
You
for
know.
sure.
Well, that's
I'm
good.
far more intuitive than he is.
You
Yeah,
know,
it's usually
so's
females,
the
usually
dog.
are.
Yeah.
Thanks.
So, there's a maggot outside, I'm sure. There's
This
snails
styrofoam
always.
cup is.
Yeah, that's not shocking.
We're dragging him out. We started this podcast and he's kind of like, yeah, you're born, you die, the worm food, that's it.
And that's my dad. Same
And-
exact thing. He's like, no, sorry, this
Yeah.
is just.
And now he's had just enough experiences where he's like, okay, my paradigm is shifting a bit. My theology is kind of taking shape in a different way. So these shows are cool. So if someone calls you to set up an appointment, you then come out and do like your initial investigation, like kind of try to debunk it. Like, what are you hearing? Ask a
Yes.
bunch of questions.
Yeah.
What's the next step?
So then we set up a time for everybody to come out during a time of a night where it's kind of like going black. No sound, no nothing. It's a really boring night. We ask them to investigate with us because we don't want them just sitting there in the dark.
Hold
and
on.
a lot of people are uncomfortable leaving their homes. And
You
so,
have them shut all their lights off and everything,
Yep.
and so they just sit there in the dark after they just says, please help me. There's a ghost. Okay, here's what I want you to do. There's a bear. Okay, get yourself a nice steak. Nice thick steak. Hang it off a belt loop. Enjoy. We'll
Here's
talk
the
to you.
phone. Call 911. You'll be good. Well, and COVID's made things a lot different.
Sure.
I've had a lot of people have, please come out. And then they're like, I just got to thinking about it. And, having 6 strangers in my house when we're only allowed so many people, and so that's changed a whole part of the dynamic. I still have one couple where like
You guys
come
could get
out,
the
but wait until
spaceman
after this is
suits.
cleared. Yeah, right.
And that wouldn't scare 'em.
You wouldn't hear the as you're walking with all the
And all your neighbors asking, what's going on in there?
Why is hazmat here?
looks like ET out front with the tube.
What was your scariest call? Do you have a call that like stands out as being like the most profound or?
So we're still working on that case, and I don't really want to give too much detail because I didn't ask permission to talk about it. I tried, but the phone hung up.
Okay, what's your
But-
second scariest call?
I really haven't had any.
The
that
doll
have
one
been-
freaks me out.
That was just personal experience. Not for me. I was more like there because we were sharing a room, so that was interesting. But
So like in the hotel room, she's in there starting. You see her.
and then last night
starting to
I was
shift.
like, oh gosh, we got to share that room with that doll. And I was like, I'm gonna stay in your guys' room because there's a couch that makes out into a bed. And here she comes. The doll's gonna stay with you tonight. And I was like, no.
So the doll. So she got kind of possessed, not in her, but through the doll. So the doll's desires.
Yeah.
The ghost through
They
the
had
doll.
to do a cleansing on the doll to get the doll to like be.
And
not
so
like
what
that.
happened to the little ghost?
You don't have to leave the party, but you can't stay here.
So,
We invite you to move on, go through the lights. In all honesty, it's kind of joking around, but that's kind of your 2 options. Is either you can play nice and leave on your own, or we're going to force you through that door, or, we're going to invite your family and friends to come over and help you cross.
Oh, you can invite. You can bring the homies in, and they can
Yeah.
drag them. Oh.
Yeah, I like to think of
That-
it as like it's sort of like if you die, you have a period where this light's there, you can go through it. If you choose not to go, that light fades away and you can't see it. And then it's help me, like I need help, so you help me a lot. Because who
You
wants
do,
to stay?
Because they're lost
They're
on.
lost.
They're
Yeah, and so that's when you have to bring in somebody who knows how to like open that back up for them to help them to pass through. Once they pass through, they're more than welcome to like go back and forth, but you can't
Wait,
do
what?
that without going. Yeah. I've had family that's went
You
through,
can
but they still come say hi. If
pop
they
in
don't
and
stay
out.
here, they're not forced to stay here in pain and misery. They just like come like,
They can
hey, you're doing
control
so
Okay.
if they come across to hang out with you, it's pain and misery to come here.
No, I'm saying if they stay, you're staying. That pain and misery is still there. Like it's when they cross over that's all taken away. And they talk about that, you know, how there's no pain or anything when you move on to that next, you know.
Good hell.
Yeah. But why stay here with one missing leg when you can go across there and have 2 brand new ones?
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think the next show I'm going to start is a crocheting show or something.
Purl 2, knit 3.
Welcome to Knitting Corner. God, this is kind of freaking me out now that you're telling me.
Don't you guys do this like every week, right? For paranormal or
Yeah, for fun. Yeah, it's a good time.
You told me scary stories. I don't know.
Now you're making it real.
Yeah.
It's like, man. So they come back and forth. That part kind of freaks me out.
See,
know,
no, that
it's kinda nice.
makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me.
Okay.
It's the ones that are hanging around that won't go that you got to
So
worry
those are the
about.
ones they've maintained their pain from life.
The ones that haven't moved on.
They
yeah.
haven't bathed in the glory of God in the light.
It's
so
sort of like I like to
are
think
some of them
it-
angry and
Yeah, they get angry. They
like
get
kicking cans on the subway?
Yeah. I like to think of it as imagine you don't realize that you're dead and you're wondering why nobody's paying attention to you everywhere you go.
Yeah,
And that's
that'd
30
piss you
years.
off.
30 years of people ignoring you and you not realizing why am I giving who
Ew.
orchestrated this mean game?
Oh, that gives me the chills.
Like being a lawyer, that little bastards. I can see you.
Oh, so do you have any haunted artifacts that you keep?
No. Hell no. I ain't gonna do it.
It's a good
I
plan.
want my house to be, in fact, like I set up perimeters. If anybody even comes into my driveway, they got to stay out there, outside on the street.
What do you mean?
If-
If they're bringing a haunted artifact
Like,
to your
let's
house?
say somebody's in your car with you, like it'll push them out of the car onto the street until you leave again.
Push
So-
a ghost? Yeah. Okay. How is a perimeter set up? Is it
Like,
salt?
Yeah.
Is
It's salt. It's like holy dirt, salt. I put crosses on
What's
every
holy
corner.
dirt?
It's dirt that's been blessed.
Okay, who blesses
You
dirt?
can. I say, you know what? I find that if you have enough faith, you can do it yourself. But you
Yeah.
can also go to the church. The church has holy soil, holy oil, holy water. It's like a lot to say holies. They all have that.
Holy cow.
I don't. Yeah, that's actually in some places it is. Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah, I mean, I walked my perimeter and I put up, so many. I was like, no, this is just, I have it even, I walked around and I did prayers. Like, I don't even want a person coming up to my door who doesn't have good intentions. Like, you keep them out here, let them go to the next house, not
Now
mine.
that's the ghost it keeps out, but like
Yeah, I mean, you can put your intention into it with prayer for anybody. Or
can you
it
keep
doesn't have to be
solicitors away?
I mean, as long as they don't have ill will towards you, don't want to hurt you or steal from you, I don't see how that would be one. Because that was kind of what mine is. I don't want anyone coming to my house who has ill will, wants to hurt me, steal from me. I don't want that to be in spirit, demonic, any kind of entity. I don't care what it is. I don't even care if it's a bad fart. That needs to stay out there. Not come in here,
Okay.
Because
We need to know how to do that for the podcast room.
Well, I don't know what you're saying.
It smells like meat.
So let's say a person is possessed then, and that possession is drawing them to your house to do whatever bad. If that person crosses the line, will that toss the possession out? Or will it stop that person, do you think?
Question.
Because if I know someone possessed, I'm going to, walk them down the street to your house and just push them through.
Please
And
don't. My parents would kill me. We already had an incident. I got
Be
that
like, "You're
SLS
healed."
machine.
A what?
The SLS where it's, how do you explain that? It reads like mapping for gaming.
It's the Xbox Kinect camera that they use for the motion games.
Oh, yeah,
Really?
yeah.
So
Okay.
it grids motion and movement out there.
so you guys are using that for ghost hunting
It's-
now?
It's been
for a while.
adapted
Wow.
be able to supposedly track energy or entities and things like that. And so, and there's been some positive, evidence that kind of proves that it does work.
As long as you ask them to do something intelligent and it does it. If you say, hey, there's a chair, it's going to put a person in a chair. If you say, hey, stand up in the chair and do 5 jumping jacks and it does it, that's more likely than not a ghost. In my case, with
more likely not a ghost.
More likely than not, it's going to be
Okay.
some kind of something.
It's an intelligent.
It's an
response.
an intelligent response. Thank you. With our house, my dad does not believe in the paranormal. He's like, you're dead. That's just So I had just gotten, I was with my mom and he was taking a nap and he comes back in and it was mapping the couch. So it had a person sitting in the couch, but it was not intelligent. It was just the couch. And he's like, oh my, what did you bring home? And I'm like, you said you didn't believe in it.
I feel bad for your old man. He's trying to just keep it an even kill, and mom and daughters
If
just.
I say it enough, it will be true. I don't believe in it. I don't believe in it.
Yeah, so that one was kind of funny. But, I really can't say whether or not a person, I would hope it would keep them on the street kind of just like a dog stuck behind the fence following you,
Yeah.
Facing back and forth.
Facing back and forth.
That would be funny, walking along and your buddy gets bounced back 10 feet. But
Like, what was that?
if it just knocked the demon out or the haunting, whatever, the possession.
Boyfriends. I have a daughter.
If you have enough intent, you never know. It could work.
I
I'm
don't
going to
know.
set up a perimeter for my boyfriends.
Mine keep coming back pretending to be their dads or who sorry, just get your own Facebook account. You don't need to pretend to be your dad.
What
I don't want to
now?
talk to you.
Your boyfriend's
I'm
pretend.
just saying, you have exes. They just keep coming back around.
Uh-huh.
It's
I thought
demon
you-
be gone. That's the demon I want gone.
Oh, man. That's
So outside of the kind of intentions you're setting at your home, do you have a a ritual that you do? Do you sage often? Do you do tarot
I don't
cards?
like to
or-
sage too often. I have tarot cards, but I won't really use them. I have the spirit board. I have the pendulum, all of that. I'm kind of at a frame of mind. If you go to somebody who says that they're a psychic medium, and this is something that Jennifer and Mary have really taught me is, if you're going to somebody for a reading and they say, come over to me, I'm a psychic medium, and then they pull out your deck of cards. Okay, I thought you were going to talk to my grandma who's standing here behind me, not just pull out a deck of cards. I could do that myself. I can, I have.
Right.
Yeah. We all have our thing. And not everybody on the team is, we all have some abilities. Not everybody is gifted. I think Ryan says he's not gifted.
I don't have any talents.
But I'll tell you what, when we're in the middle of an investigation and he's like, I'm not going tonight, he'll be like, Sarah, what's going on? I know something's happening. Call me. Right now, you got to tell me what's going on. I'm like, yeah. I was like, let me tell you. I was like, how did you pick up on that? So
maybe
everybody is a
his
little
gift
gifted.
is to not show up when things go bad. That is,
Not be there when it's
Yes.
bad. Maybe.
yes.
haunting IBS. Yeah, that's okay. So I'm real interested in this talking to ghosting. We've talked to a few mediums on the show before, but do you talk to when you meet someone, do you see if they have kind of
It kind of depends.
Hang
It's
out
to
people?
each their own. I've been with people and I'm like, that you have a lady standing next to you who looks just like you and she's going like this. And I'm like, I don't know what this means. And then they'll be like, yeah, my mom, she died with
So
something
you
from the neck.
do. You
but
can
it's not,
sense it.
it's not like I see them visually. I have, but it's not a occurrence where I would say it happens all the time. Most of the time it's just my mind's eye, I guess.
all right? So
Yeah.
anybody?
You know what? I have so much going on right now that I would not even be
Okay.
able to connect.
Okay.
It's all how you've had some of those weeks that have tested you.
My day to day is that.
That's been my
Yeah.
last 2 weeks.
Grandma
Tested
life.
me.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mine's been pretty easy going today. I took a nap.
Oh, that would be nice.
I had a ribeye steak.
Yes. Yes.
It's been a rough day, folks.
Yes, rough day.
I should mention too, after we do an investigation where somebody's in their home, we don't just go right then and, well, we're closing up, so now we're going to sage your entire house and we need to look back at the evidence. That can take up to a month. We need to figure out what it is we're dealing with.
Do you guys have a white table that has a light in it?
No.
I'm starting to see that you
put your
need one of
things on.
those. So you lay things on it, it shadows it out. That's a trend. Ours is going to be a white table with a light in it soon, just for
Okay, so then tell me, ghosts obviously you believe in, demons obviously you believe in. What
Angels?
about aliens?
Ooh.
I kind of believe a little bit in everything.
Yeah.
I think the existence of aliens is out there. Do I believe, are they coming and abducting people? I've never personally experienced it, so I'm not going to say yes or no. But just with the nature of the universe, it'd be hard not to think that there's...
Yeah.
The size and the vastness and
Yeah.
And why do they always want to go up the butt? There's other orifices.
Kegel foo.
Jared's going to teach a class in
I'm
Kegel
gonna start up a Kegel foo dojo. I'll be the Sifu of the Kegel foo at the Kegel foo dojo.
One of the coolest things is I've seen, and I don't have access to this video, so it's going to be hearsay, but there is a house that we've worked on previously, and they have actual, like, you can put the night vision cameras up, and you can see this little, like, fairy. It has, like, a body and then wings, but you can see that it's humanoid, and then it will, like,
zip in front
it'll
of
zip and it'll change and it will get bigger and it like can go through it's like really the craziest thing ever. And I started doing more research on it, and I found out that even the Native Americans believed in these little like fairies, and you'll hear that word, people interchange them, fae, like F-A-E,
The fae.
and
Yeah,
then
everyone had-
fairies, but they
everyone
are
had
completely
fae.
different.
There was Viking fae. Everyone had it.
Yeah, and you'll find Sasquatch. That's a really interesting one too, where the Native Americans on the, I have to think, never eat shredded wheat. So the south, no, sorry, yeah, the west, upper west, northwest.
Well, Nevada. you
Yeah,
had the
but they
redhead
followed the
giants.
Sasquatch up into Alaska. That's how they got up to Alaska.
Oh.
That's their native story. So
Yeah.
very interesting to look back at the history of the people.
You
and
listening, Les?
see what
Got
they
some
have.
Squatch action going on.
Yeah, Les is our resident Squatch expert, our Squatchpert.
Our Squatcher.
Yes. Yeah, he knows everything about the Sasquatch.
Yeah, he's you can bring up any story and he's been on it. It's been his.
I'd
Yeah.
kind of be more interested in doing a little bit more of that. We've kind of not had.
Yeah,
This
I've
year's been
dabbled
busy.
with cryptids type before, done a few like Bigfoot calls and things like that. Nothing to sounds like the extent that he's done, but yeah, the cryptids are cool. Some people just say they don't exist, but there's so many people in the world that see something weird.
There's too much evidence. There's just too much. There's too many stories.
Yeah, there's too much to not say that there is not anything there.
Yeah, I mean, we even covered the Wendigo, and it was interesting to me to connect the dots because it was an ancient Indian tribe that first spoke of the Wendigo, and they taught their children to, probably for preservation of the tribal members, that in times of famine to not eat one another. And they taught
and to
them,
don't be stingy and
yeah, and they taught them that if they did, they would turn into a Wendigo. And now we know what happens if you eat prions. Like, if you eat the brain tissue of another human, like, you do kind of turn into a Wendigo. I mean, I'm just calling it. You do get really gaunt and skinny and can't keep up weight, and you're
shake a lot,
sickly, and you
get
shake a lot,
crazy.
and you tip over, and you walk funny. And they taught their children this. So there's all of these ancient connections to current, what we currently talk about. So
Yeah,
aliens, I think it would be absurd to think that there aren't, just given the vast area of space that we've yet to explore. I mean, we know absolutely nothing about our own space, let alone that beyond, what we can get to. So,
And every story came from something. Now, it may not be
Yes.
the full story, and it may be exaggerated upon, but it came from something.
yeah.
Well, yeah, and you've got Jacques Vallée. He thinks the aliens we see are demons.
Yes. So there is that connection.
Yeah.
So if you go to a home and you find that it is like this is just a really bad energy or a really angry spirit. What is your advice? Is there something that you can do as a homeowner, or do we need to have an expert come in and identify it and help to clear the space?
Well, I feel like you need to identify what it is. There are certain things, like if you use sage, it's going to work great for human spirits. If you use it for a demonic, they're just going to get pissed off.
At sage?
So you have to find
What
the
do you
right
use for
tool.
demonic?
For me, it's more like holy water, prayer. I do kind of like a light energy where I envision just the white light of God just surrounding and filling every orifice of the house and just pushing it out. And that works, 9 times out of 10 really good. But, there's just different things. And neither of those things are going to work if you have a fey entity on your property, which is causing the damage. So it really just depends on what the actual thing is you're dealing with.
Very interesting.
So you got to figure out what it is, and you guys gather up in your group around the white. I'm just dreaming this part around the lit up table.
Sadly, no, we do it all on
I'm
our
dreaming
own.
it up. Come on, let's keep going.
That's mostly why we do. If it's something extreme, it's usually multiple times that we'll visit a location to verify, to make sure that what somebody's experiencing is what it is, whether it be a negative entity or a fae or just bad pipes.
Oh yeah.
So sometimes what people are experiencing is something man-made and natural.
So the family calls you over and you're like, well, we searched it's bad pipes. You hear your husband in the back go, yes.
I mean,
Well,
how much money do you want to spend for that compared to we do it for free? So I guess that just depends on.
Oh, dang it.
a prime example is kind of what you have set up here. A lot of electronics give off and different types of electrical fields and things like that. And if the wires aren't shielded right, or if it's older wiring that isn't grounded necessarily, that can play with people's psyche.
Sure.
They've done tests with it, like the Faraday cage effect essentially can cause people to go crazy or see things or things like that. So sometimes it's not necessarily paranormal. Sometimes it's something that's maybe man-made.
It's real to them, though.
But it's real to them, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and you can say, hey, go please have an electrician come out. The problem is you get the electricians who say, hey, we don't believe in this, it's just fine, but your house is built in the 1940s and nothing's grounded.
Right.
Yeah.
So
that which kind of leads to like when we use a K2 meter or an EMF detector. Essentially, those were designed for electricians to see higher EMF fields and things like that. They've been adopted into the paranormal field, but essentially it's for the same reason. So if you can walk up to a fuse box in somebody's house and you're, over 100 Gauss, you've got a grounding problem. And
Definitely haunted right here.
That may be contributing to what you're experiencing.
Sure.
Yeah.
So maybe start there.
Right.
If that doesn't correct.
right, and that's why we do the baseline. If we go in and the whole house is 0, but we go in at night and now it's bumped up to level 5 on the light meter, then there's something a little bit more going on. Now, if we go in and it's a steady 3 and then it's a steady 3 all night, more likely than not, what you're experiencing is probably this. And I know you don't want to hear it. We don't want to tell you that what you're not experiencing isn't real in the sense that, yeah, it's real to you, but it's caused by this.
Sure.
And so a lot of times
I
you'll get
want to
where
hear
people don't
there's
wanna-
not a ghost in my house.
A lot of times, though, people don't want to hear that. They would much rather believe it's a ghost than the fact that it's an electrical grounding thing that's making them, have the issues.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of hauntings.
Well, I think we're just going to have you guys come out to Benson Ghrist for free. And if you want, you can bring all your
Yeah, we
stuff.
dig that.
And
I would totally love to do
We'd
that.
love that. And I say we set up a Bigfoot hunt.
Yeah, I think a
that'd be
Bigfoot
fun.
hunt would be fun. We went, my husband and I went and found a bunch of tree structures that I mapped because I was like, I gotta come back and just check these out because they are massive, and there's probably
Yeah, we
5
need
or
to get
6 of
back up
them.
there.
And I mean, they're just they cannot be made by nature. And I mean, honestly, it would take like big equipment to get in there. We were trying to determine like how big is this log, and it's it's split and set inside, and it's deep back in the woods. So that'd be a cool place to go check it out and see if we could that's here in Utah as well. So
Yeah.
Yeah. There's also the place where we were just talking about this, my brother and I, where they have the was it the Nephilim? The Nephilim bones?
The
Nephilim?
Yep.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
say it's so Californian, but for me, but yeah, it is.
Yeah.
They have those where you can go and supposedly see these, which I think would be kind of a fun thing
Where's
to
now?
get.
Where's that at?
I want to say, is it by Moab?
I was going to say it's down south. I want to say.
That's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, I'm down.
probably that
Definitely, dude.
direction.
I dig Nephilim stories.
Yeah.
I dig it. That's
My brother
So-
sends me a lot of. He's more into cryptids than I'm always like, you want to come on a paranormal thing? No, is it a cryptid thing? We're going to the ranch. Where are we going? You know, and I'm like, no.
Yeah. So someone.
yeah. Which is faster, ghost or Bigfoot?
Oh.
That's a good question.
You know.
It depends on how you look at Bigfoot, because there's some people that think that Bigfoot's an interdimensional creature.
Yes.
Yeah, or an
yeah.
alien. Or,
Yeah, like he's
So,
bouncing in and out
I
of
mean,
dimensions.
if you're putting those at a starting line, that's hard to tell which is which.
Yeah.
Have you ever dealt with a poltergeist?
Yes.
Or had people who have had poltergeist? That I think is the most terrifying.
As you say that, it's on my lap.
Well,
The noisy.
now the poltergeist is just your own manifestation made real.
Yeah, that
And Charles Dickens, I believe it was a great one at doing this. He
that
would
comes
actually
from
see-
inside you. Your inner troubles.
He would focus so much on who he was writing about in his stories that they would become real.
Oh, I
and
wonder
stand
if
in front of
Stephen
him.
King deals with his own
Now
poltergeist.
his are from his dreams, so he dreams like I dream, and then he writes the stories.
He has lucid dreaming.
Mm.
Like because he
At
like
least that's what I heard from
Yeah.
my friend who's a very big fan.
I've read that he has like security watching him sleep. Like he has cameras in his bathroom because he's the drain. He's got this thing about the drain in there, and
Sounds like someone I know.
yeah. So I have a doll in my house. Come to speak of it, I was putting together a podcast room, so we went to an antique store, and I bought this doll, and it's just this old Raggedy Ann doll. And I set it up in the podcast room. Now I can't even go in there.
That's what the real Annabelle
it
was.
is. It
Annabelle is not one of them glass
I
face
find
dolls.
that the doll's a lot better looking and more terrifying in the movie than in real
Well,
life.
yeah, because
So-
in real life she's just a Raggedy Ann doll.
So now, my gym, my home gym, I look down the stairs to make sure the podcast room is closed, and then I squeeze by, work out, and then as I'm coming back, I find myself like skipping the last 2 steps to get upstairs to get this stupid doll. I'm gonna have to get rid of the doll.
Well, I know people that take haunted items, so if that's something you want to do, just let us know. They have their own museum in the back of their house.
I would. It'd be interesting to see if the
Yes.
doll is haunted.
I will bring it to the Benson Ghrist Mill.
Try if you have access to a K2 meter,
I don't.
put it. It's just you can buy them. They're pretty.
Okay.
They're like $30, maybe 15, but you can.
Yeah, we should buy a ghost hunting kit.
And then
Yes.
you just put it up there where the doll is and see if it lights up
Registers.
at all. Yeah, but make sure you don't have anything else electric near it, like your cell phone or anything that's going to happen. There's no plugs.
Yeah, the silly doll. I
I am
can't. I
not-
can't even. I can't even be in the podcast room.
It's
Creeps
funny.
me out.
She decorated it. And
I got it all ready, and then I was like, I can't use it. Jared's like, why? And I'm like, the stupid doll.
Yeah.
The doll on the wall. I can't. It's watching me. It's weird.
Is that I always think, Child's Play, the one where they decorate his room with all the clowns and stuff. That's like my worst nightmare. 'Cause
Yeah.
dolls and clowns.
we
mixed
went to
together,
the
and
Clown
I'm like,
Motel out
Yeah.
in Nevada.
I
out in
looked at
Tonopah.
it. I don't like clowns
So
but
that-
the allergies from looking at that place, it look dusty. Like I don't see how you could take everything down and dust it. I'm sorry.
It was pretty clean.
Yeah,
I
that guy
mean-
kept it clean. But then we went
But
through
he
the,
was a clown enthusiast.
Yeah, no.
From,
that
like,
would make
childhood.
me. If he was like, "Let's date," I'd be like, "Nope."
So
Nope, sorry.
the coolest thing about the Clown Motel is it's the original Tonopah cemetery. They had a fire in one
Yeah.
of their mines, and it wiped out like basically half the town, and
and
they
then
were all
they
buried
had
there.
then they had a disease that come
Yeah.
through meningitis or something. So yeah, and creepy old cemetery
That is
next door.
that would be a cool place to go and just get some like EVP and stuff because
Yeah, yeah.
There's that
tons.
gas station down around the corner, about 2 miles away.
Yeah.
Perfect place to slide the van in.
You're always looking for a way
set
out.
up the Wi-Fi.
Right off I-15. I could be almost home before you get to the van. No, that would be a cool one too. That was a cool stop. He doesn't, like I said, he's not intuitive, but there were a couple of rooms where they were letting us read through the guest cards. And I mean, a lot of people have heard about the Clown Motel, and so they go there ghost hunting.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
but there are some people that were like, listen.
And he's got two
I didn't
rooms that
sleep
are
at all.
decorated because you go in the room and there's a picture of whatever movie star, and they're done up like a clown, like Elvis.
Yeah, Elvis
Or,
is a clown. Marilyn Monroe is a clown.
Yeah, what's
Movies
that?
I want to watch.
What's that chick's name? The big one that's married to the crazy guy.
That's very descriptive for
Yeah,
Hollywood.
all of them.
The one her dad was a O.J. Simpson lawyer buddy.
Oh, Kardashian?
Yeah, so they've got her done up. But
Wait, are you talking about Kanye West? Is that your clown guy?
No, he probably was in one of the rooms, but he's got two rooms that are dressed up where the clowns are not a celebrity; they're
Evil.
scary face, big mouths with sharp teeth. Like it numbers.
Yeah. So there's one room I walked in and I was like, yeah, this is kind of a weird room, and I was reading through the guest checkout cards. And then there was another room I was like, I cannot breathe in this room. This room is awful. I would not sleep in this room.
And I'm just cruising through.
Yeah, and he's like, yeah, look.
I like these little fridges you have. They got like the old school steel fridges,
Yeah.
which I thought that was cool. I'm opening each one of those up, like
yeah,
digging
he
that.
doesn't. Yeah.
Well, after I nearly died, my mom's like, "Let's go. We're gonna go to Scotland, and we're just gonna do this tour." Like we went for like 17 days, and we stayed at I think it's called the Toloke. I'm not even sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Castle, and we get there and they don't tell you anything about the hotel. You can't find that it's haunted in their hotel thing. Nothing.
They just surprise you.
No, well, it's because they
Ta-da!
don't want you. They want you to experience it before.
Enjoy.
Like you can go on the tour and you'll find out about it, but they don't want you to know. So
To
that way
go
you
there
have a
intentionally
blind.
for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So we were there. We were there for 2 nights, and the first night I'm just like, man, I couldn't sleep. This little girl Elizabeth all night long is just yippity yippity yip, and I was like, you gotta shut up. I gotta sleep. And I'm telling my mom about it, and she's like, okay, here she's going nuts again. I love my mom, but it's kind of a little ongoing thing. And so the next night, we go to this tour, and we're sitting there, and they're like, yeah, our resident ghost Elizabeth. And my mom's like, what? I can't believe you were right. And I was like, I told you.
That's cruel that they don't warn you. You rent a cool castle motel room. You're
she keeps saying we got to go back and send her to the light. And I'm like, well, if they don't want to go,
this
there's
is
only
going
so
to
much
be
you
the
can
neatest
do.
thing. I'm going to stay in a castle. Nope.
She's like, why? You ignored her all night long and you wouldn't talk to her. And I'm like, I've been driving freaking 8-hour days. Like, I'm so tired.
On the wrong side of the road.
Yeah, it's very confusing.
It rains all the time.
Yeah.
Breakfast sucks.
That's interesting
Actually, I
because
didn't know it was so bad.
I actually did research on near-death experiences, and one thing a lot of them share or have in common following that is this clearer perception of the afterlife. It's like this pathway within their
You have
brain
a new
is
perception
opened.
of what is.
Yeah, even if they don't remember their near-death experience, they have a tendency to drift more to being able to understand, the afterlife or what's beyond, this existence.
Yeah.
So that's interesting that you said that.
Yeah.
That's, yeah.
The stocks.
Oh,
Man, I'd be freaking out. I'd be so mad. Go up there. Will you fill out this card? One.
Oh, no,
One.
that's not even the worst part.
One.
On the tour, we're with about 7 or 8 other people. And they said, we're going to leave you here for the night. You can take pictures of the castle, look, whatever. And we're just, look at how pretty the stars are, this and this and this corner room. I think it's room 5. I don't know. I'm just guessing numbers. We were in room 4, which was next door. And the window's there. And my mom and I are looking, we're all looking, and we're like, there's this shadow of a silhouette of a girl looking through the window. And I'm like, do you guys see that? And everyone's like, see what? We're like, right here in the window, do you see it? And then you see this silhouette just go down like, oh, they see me. And so
Did everyone else see it too?
Nobody but my mom and I. We were the only 2 people that saw it. So she was like, open up the whiskey bar. I'm going to start drinking. It was the freakiest
ma'am,
thing.
it's 7 a.m.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
I mean, it was dark. There's stars out, but it was, for all of us to be in a group, I mean, just looking right there, like right here, we're still talking about it. We're still seeing it. And
I'm
you guys
in
aren't
gear
seeing this.
before the starter disengages.
It's a good trip, though.
Wow. Very cool. So if somebody wants to get you guys out there, they can go to your Facebook or Instagram.
Facebook, Instagram, email's probably the easiest. That's I'll just spell it out: sarahchrpslc@gmail.com.
Okay.
Which is also my handle for my Facebook, my public page. I tend to have two because I get a lot of weirdo requests. I was reading some of them to Ryan earlier. It's a good drive over.
It was interesting. It was definitely interesting.
I like to read them in like little voices. And it's, I'd really like to meet you. And, oh yeah, thanks. But really, can we meet? Maybe not. So he gets the whole perspective of.
Yeah, see, that's it seems to be me that finds the future guests, right?
Uh-huh.
And so I reach out to him. I wonder how often people get creeped out by a guy.
Well, I
holding a
mean,
little
in all
shark.
honesty, I was like, "Oh, here we go again." It's,
Yeah. And
I was a little bit relieved,
so
to be honest.
I need to start. So I tried bouncing Betsy onto the chat as soon as possible. Like, this isn't creepy. I don't have a stainless steel room. Not a lot of chains dangling. You know,
Come to my house.
come
It's just for a
over.
talk.
Yeah, no, there's none of that. So I tried to pull her in real quick, but I don't know. I'm the one that tends to find
you
most
find
of it.
them, yeah.
Because if if I'm flipping through and I see anything paranormal or anything, just pass across, I jump on it and send him a message, and
Have
I'm
you
really
guys-
glad.
Have you guys ever investigated the Cooke Motel here in Twilla?
I'm not from here, so I haven't had a chance to do
I've
that.
heard of it. I haven't investigated
Yeah.
myself. I know people that have done it and had some pretty interesting experiences.
That is an interesting
Our
place
friend
as well.
Chelsea does some
Some
does some-
EVP over
Yeah, I
there.
actually listened to that podcast because I was trying to get a feel for what I was getting into.
yeah, bad jokes.
We're all for that. Hey.
Yeah, that's an interesting place too.
Yeah.
And the one that we did, we went and talked to her. She had actually reached out to us here in town. That was interesting because in the basement, she found these big obsidian rocks at the four corners.
Yeah, for protection.
And I was like, yeah, well, I mean, clearly somebody was trying to
Yeah,
protect
but she
this
gathered
space.
all the protection up.
So she
and-
gathered them up and put them in a bucket and took them upstairs. And I was like, you probably want to put those back. I mean, and, if you started sensing these things. But another thing that she found was these great big long pieces of hair. And she was like, they're just really old hair. And I thought, well, that is the weirdest thing to find in a basement.
So now with witchcraft, you will find that people like to use hair and fingernails. So if anybody
Yes.
ever, I'm really weird now about if I go someplace, I like put my hair up because I'm like, I don't want somebody doing bad juju. I
Keeping
guess.
your hair.
Well, that's why I
So
shaved
we
my
started-
head. I mean,
We
honestly.
we found that out when I actually started, for one of our shows, we covered witchcraft and kind of kitchen witchery. And that's a big thing. So I was like,
But you
that's
can use your
creepy.
own hair to help keep you protected as well. So it's not always a one-way street of it being bad.
Yeah.
If somebody's using it against you, yeah, but you can use it to protect yourself if it's your own.
And what she kept hearing was just tons of footsteps. Like she'd hear him, like turn around, nobody was there.
Yeah,
It's like a thump, drag footstep.
Yeah, and-
but then we
great.
come to
That's
fall.
the better one. There's
Yeah.
a pirate in my house.
I like pirates. This was a scary old lady, apparently,
Yeah. So she
that had a bum leg, so she walked with a
Cane.
crutch.
Oh, crutch. Okay.
Yeah, and she caught a couple glimpses of her. So she was like, yeah, come over and
Well, she
check
just
it out.
reached out to me, and there's more things happening in the new place she's at.
So maybe
Yeah,
it's
some
her.
people, it will follow. You attract it. It's
Yeah.
Well,
no matter where you move to, that may just be something that follows you.
She
We
may
can't get
be
rid of it,
sensitive.
Yes.
It could be I could live in that place, and I wouldn't have noticed anything.
Yeah.
Now, I've had experiences in every place I've ever been in, but they've never been the same experiences, which tells me
So you're not it's not following you.
It's not following me as much as it is. I just happen
You
to
draw
choose the
whatever's
places.
there.
Yeah.
That's what's going on. This news story is something totally different. And it's still, she's still sending me messages and populating it, but it's not a thump drag lady.
Thump drag lady. I just got my mom into watching Haunted Hill House. And she's on episode 5, where she realizes.
Never seen it.
Oh my gosh, it's great. But
Yeah, I don't watch
she's
scary
so addicted.
movies.
We went to Montana and there's nothing to do. Everything's closed, even though we booked our trip. And so she got into, she's like, what should I watch? And I put on this Haunted Hill House, which is a lot like this stuff. Like, you would love it if you love this stuff. Maybe not you, because you're going to run for the hills. But it's a really great show. And she, 5 straight episodes. And I finally was like, you better take your pill to go to bed, because otherwise you're going to be up all night,
I'm going to watch it with the blanket up the butt yonder.
It's so good.
It is terrifying.
Is it?
It is next level terrifying. It's really good though.
And they're making a season 2. I'm so excited.
Man, I went to
really
the dentist yesterday, and they gave me the gas, and I'm laying back with the headphones on, getting numb, and Bigfoot's on the TV on the ceiling. It was spot on perfection. It was magical.
Les said that he lived at the Kirk Hotel and it is haunted. I didn't know you lived there. That's crazy.
Ooh.
Les would be one that we would bring with us to the Benson Ghrist Mill. He's our resident cryptid guy.
Yeah, he's he's pretty intuitive too, and so is his sister.
Yeah, Les has had a couple of Les and Jan. I would say Jan has had a couple of experiences at my house. One of them that I was just like, what?
Yeah.
But she's very intuitive. Les as well has had few experiences.
Definitely. I feel bad if a ghost is trying to get my attention. Nothing. They could try kicking the can down the subway or making pottery.
So how many people are you guys opening up the Grist Mill?
I think it's 50. And that doesn't include the team we have.
Are you going to make everyone wear masks and sanitize their hands? And
I mean, generally what we do is we just kind of say, hey, we took your temperature. Here's some sanitizer. If you want to wear it, wear it. Yeah. Not everybody does. If you feel like
using
you need
the same thermometer on everyone?
I have a special digital,
I was thinking it'd be...
Do they lick it?
Ew,
you
gross.
lick it now?
Now, seeing as how I found out from my mother, who's an RN, that the proper way to do it is actually in the armpit and not on the forehead,
yes.
I don't suggest licking it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I was talking about the old thermometer, the way they...
The butt ones or the... Yep. Yeah.
Yeah, Nate has joined and he said, yes, 50.
Nate Morgan.
Nate also said earlier... he's excited for your...
but he can have the
for
doll.
Your scary doll.
Yes.
He collects them, actually. He has some in his house.
Yeah, we bought it at...
Seriously?
We bought it at an antique store years ago, and...
Seriously?
What's great is he lives in a disability apartment complex, and so it travels from apartment to apartment.
And when you said
so
the doll...
not the doll, but the spirit.
So he says, welcome to my home. To the ghost dolls.
And it's interesting because when you said that doll said to buy me, I would have never bought this doll.
Nope, that's why
But when I walked in, I was looking literally for I bought a Ghostbuster car and just old old memorabilia from movies that had to do with paranormal. So I bought the Ghostbuster mobile and those things, and then this doll was on the shelf.
Where'd you buy the doll at?
At the same antique store.
Oh boy!
So I walked past it, and then we were gonna check out, and I told my husband I gotta go buy that doll, and he was like, "Well, what doll?" And I'm like, "That stupid doll back there. The doll, I would have never bought that stupid doll."
So it called your name.
If
But it
Do
was
you feel
this
like
weird.
you need to buy something? Are you hearing it in your mind? Is it because you want it? Is it a necessity? I mean, I always say ask
Oh,
these
they roll a
questions.
firearm in front of me. I'm like a cat with a ball of yarn.
I'm always like, ask these questions. We have
That's the truth.
we opened up our team to doing mentorships for gifted kids. We have a really, really cool 15-year-old on the team. She's just amazing, and she likes to collect antiques. And it's one of the things we told her is, make sure you really figure out, why are you getting this item? Is it, does it have good energy? Is the energy bad? Is it just saying buy me, buy me, buy me? And you're like, I don't really want it, but why is it saying buy me?
Yes.
Because,
Yeah.
psychometry.
Lindsay says, don't buy dolls that say buy me. Yeah. I'm learning that because now it's in my basement.
Now she won't go in the basement.
I won't even go in the room.
Is this house or is
No.
this
No.
a different house?
It's
Okay.
at the
Her
other
house is
house.
down in Grantsville.
Okay.
If I would have known we would be covering dolls, I'd have her front and center.
We ain't bringing her in my house. We do the interview out back.
Yeah.
Like, I made you a special carrying case. It's the
Yeah.
suitcase. You're going away.
Yeah,
I'll bring
You're
her
going for
with.
a
it's a
trip.
still case.
Interesting.
Got to get a doll.
Yeah,
in.
I frequent antique shops. It's kind of my thing. Whenever we go anywhere, I'm like, oh, we got to stop. And like my china set is, really old antique china
yeah.
set. And but this stupid doll, I do not collect dolls. As a matter of fact, nobody in our family collects dolls. My niece Presley had a bunch of dolls, and then Vince said he walked in there one morning and all the dolls were turned around. And so he was like, what are you doing? And she was like, I don't like them looking at me.
Yeah. Nope. I'm with you.
And so he was like, well, we got to get rid of the dolls. So
all
we
their
gave-
faces shut.
So we got all the dolls. And my daughter was like, don't put those in my room. I don't want any of those dolls.
I think Tucker's a little like me. He wouldn't notice.
He wouldn't notice.
I think the only thing I have that stares at me, and it's just the tiniest of figurines, is I have a little Cinderella that my cousin, she just passed this year, but she, is 33, most beautiful young lady you've ever seen. And she had bought this for me. She's 6 years younger than me. And so when we were kids, I thought I bought this for her because that was my favorite character growing up. And so that's like the only thing I really have, I think, even in our whole house.
Yeah.
Other than dog toys. There's tons of dog toys everywhere. Yeah. I just...
Very cool.
Laura asks, how does someone sign up to go to the grist mill? That would be at the
Facebook page.
Facebook page.
Hidden.
Yeah, so our handle is all one giant word, unfortunately.
It'll be in the links. She can spell it out for you now. Go to the links, and we'll post a link to it on our page.
It's this one down here.
Hidden Realms
Hidden Realms,
Paranormal Salt Lake City.
Yeah, so if you go there and then you go to events, they're all listed right there. I think the only one I don't have up is the psychometry class. I need to get that up. Now, for our free classes at Needful Things, there's, I said, cold case psychometry. We do them every other month, other than the 3 months we
Where's
close down.
Needful Things?
It's in Murray. It's off State Street.
Is it a?
It's the antique store next to the mortuary we talked about earlier.
You doing classes
I've
there?
been in there a couple of times.
Yeah,
I've got a
so
couple of
it's-
things from
he
there.
puts
actually.
up tables kind of around in the first area where you go in, and so it's we can only maybe have like, I think 20 people, he said, max in there. So we do sell tickets, but the tickets are free. So just as long as you get that, you have, and you don't need to print them. We have it on our phone who's got
Would they be okay one time, maybe us setting up and recording a class?
I think it would be fine. We just need to make sure we limit the people to less people, so that way you have room for
Space.
this.
I think that'd be an interesting. Well, we'll have a travel kit to where it'll just be a camera. It'll set up behind me.
Yeah, and the psychometry
I'll sit in the
one's
back
really fun.
and.
Yeah, because that one we say, hey, go find your item, and we have them. Whether it's
That's
something
the
they've
haunted
been-
stuff.
The haunted stuff. They do have a full room there full of dolls.
Full of haunted shit.
Yeah. It's not all haunted. One of the best ones, oh my gosh, recently, and the owner wanted it back, and I was destroyed. It was like $400, but they had a black women's vintage Victorian dress, and I wanted it so bad. And it was in a glass case. And
It was
just the most
saying,
beautiful.
"Buy me."
It was, and
you'd
it
have
was
put
like,
it on, and you'd have.
weigh 90 pounds so you can wear me. And I
Yeah.
was like, that's not gonna happen.
Women
but-
are not built the same anymore.
I know. One time I was at the Grand, is it the Grand Horton? I think in San Diego, and they have these, one of the elevators have those little boots that the women used to wear.
Yes.
Her feet were only this wide. Full woman's, like, size, 8, 9, 10, I don't know, but that wide. And I'm like,
I'm
there's no
sure
way.
it wasn't comfortable at all. It was,
I'm only a couple generations removed from my grandma, and I can't wear her watch.
Mm-mm.
Let alone any damn thing else she wore.
Yeah, I have my grandma's clothes, and I am lucky she was a bustier lady because and I do wear them, fortunately, but.
Yeah, my grandma's wrist is, at my age, was half the size of my. I think we're reverting back to cave people.
I'm there.
But they were like scrubbing the floors, making sure dinner. And what am I doing? I'm watching. Eating my Cheetos and
That's
watching.
true.
Who knows what do I usually watch? I don't even know
That's
anymore.
true.
You watch everything. I
Yeah.
couldn't really.
I talk to him like most of the day. I annoy him all day long. I'm up now. What are you doing, Ryan?
I'm at work.
Yeah, I know the feeling. Yeah,
Nate, same thing with Nate. I'm like, Nate, now what are you telling?
That'd be cool even if we can't record it, I'd like to go to one of those classes until he said, go pick up your haunted thing. And
Well,
I would,
it
I would
is
like
really
be
fun.
someone, here's $10 if you touch my stuff and put it over there.
So what we do is we say, go get your item.
The
We
worst
have
thing
him
is,
hold it,
what
fill
if it is
out.
haunted and I suddenly decide to open up my third eye and bam, I'm on the floor.
That's the point of the
video's
class.
running.
That's the point. What we like to do though is not to pass out or anything, but what we like to do is afterwards we do sage everybody. We make sure that you have a good cleansing,
Okay.
of sage and everything because they are human spirits. There's nothing really. There's some bad human spirits, but it's nothing crazy. A lot of them are spirits passing through because the mortuary is right next door. When I first went, so when I first was on Badass Spirit Outlaws, I got there and I had never been there, and I was like, I'm gonna go get a spoon from this last room over here, and they kept saying, no, the spoons are over here. We have this one room where it's just for, and I was like, no, it's gonna be like. I kind of did a quick walkthrough, and I'm like, it's going to be in this last room over here.
So you was drawn to a spoon that stuck in your memory.
A spoon
even though
in
the
the
spoon,
Christmas room of all things.
even though
And
the
I found
spoon wasn't in the spoon room, but
it was in the Christmas
okay,
room.
what
Did
was
you
in the
buy it?
spoon?
No, I don't. It was just a spoon.
Was it haunted?
I don't know if it necessarily was haunted. I got the energy that somebody, used it a lot for cooking. So it may have been more of a residual, like this was my favorite spoon. I used it a lot
So
when I was
that's the
cooking for
thing.
the family.
I am going to go in there tactically. I am going to pick something that a crocheting needle.
That you used to stab your husband with.
Okay, all right. All right.
You gotta think about
A doily. Do they have doilies in there?
They have a little bit of everything.
A doily
you can
on a
even
table,
find
you'd set
cleaning
your-
items from 50 years ago to today. Some stuff's newer, some stuff's older. It really just depends.
Yeah, I've been into needful things.
All right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and Francis, cousin now, I think is his name, cousin now. I cannot see it, but he's a really great guy, and he does this out of the charity of his heart to let us come in there and work with him for
So a psychometry, how is it used? I mean, like as far as applications.
So a lot of times people will say, did you bring something of your loved one when they're doing a reading? And then, I'm not going to tell you what this is, but here, hold this in your hand. And
I see. So it's just about being able to sense, energy, whatever residuals left on this item.
so if your grandma had a favorite ring, and you can even, sometimes people try to trick them, so they'll be like, I got this one from Walgreens, like $10, or Walmart probably more like it, but and they'll mix a couple of them in there, and then the person will pick out the one item that
Walgreens, they'd be caught because the receipt would be trailing down the block.
it's like a candy,
Very
ring
cool.
with the candy on it.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to go to the grist mill, and I'm excited to take some classes.
Yeah, and it's just really cool, and I like the cold cases too because the only person who really knows going into it what's happening with those are the people who went online and figured out who from the missing persons what it is that they're going to do, and sometimes they're local to Utah, sometimes it's a big national thing. On the old team, the one we used to do all the time, I think was Rosie. Is it Tapia? She went missing, I think, in the 80s, and they worked a lot with that to help solve missing persons for them. And she's come through actually on a few of our stuff because I think she worked with us a lot.
I have a very dear friend whose son has been missing since October.
Yeah,
And
sad.
that would be an interesting thing to see if we could connect you guys with her.
Yeah, that might be one where, we could actually use that for a case, and they're more than welcome to come and sit in. And it's not a guarantee, and
Sure.
nobody by any means is an expert.
Sure.
It's just
But she's just run out of options,
Yeah, and that's kind of one of the reasons I think they started working on Badass Spirit Outlaws with this person's aunt. And now it's got the attention of, I don't know if they've solved it. I've kind of lost touch with it, but I know every year they do a big thing where it's out in the news. They talk about it. I know that they had a private eye came on. So there are things that start happening when you start.
Sure. When you focus
Yeah.
on it.
Mm-hmm.
Because the universe always says yes.
Until it says no.
Until it says no.
Until it says no.
Or sometimes maybe.
Well, not
That's an
you.
inside joke with the pendulum because you get
Oh.
yes, no, and maybe. It's like,
Oh, there's maybes?
there's maybe.
So it straight up 8 balls you, huh?
Yeah.
Ask again later. Oh, shut up.
But nothing is permanent when it comes to the future.
That's
And
yeah.
so for I think that's a pretty easy, and it's so hard though, because people want definite answers, and you're like, this is all just
Sure.
who in their right mind.
There's a million working parts to what happens in the next hour, in the next minute of everyone's lives, depending on how we all come together and the choices that we all make. So everything is, left up for debate.
Yeah. Well, even the past has itself 3, 4, 5 different versions.
Yes.
So
Ay,
who's to
ay,
say?
ay.
Well, we're going to have you guys on again. This was
This has been
This was
fun.
fun.
Now that I know what to expect.
yeah, bad jokes and if you can get permission from the scariest thing.
Well, I think they're in the works of possibly doing some bigger things, and so I
Like
think that
tossing a stick of dynamite in the house.
I
walking
can't
away.
say what, but there would be some reasons why I couldn't talk
Oh,
about it.
okay.
So unfortunately, but I'm sure once that's all worked out, they might be willing to come in here. I don't know. I think they kind of just want to leave it behind them, which I
I
understand.
think that's common.
yeah.
At least with ones that we find
Oh, I
have
would.
more credence, that
I'd
are more
change
legitimate.
my name.
Yeah, it's been very traumatic for the whole family. So animals included, they're very
Oh.
sensitive too. So
Yeah. Yeah, that's scary, definitely. And we will see you guys at the Grist Mill.
Yeah. Do you need us to go online and register? Or?
yes.
Yeah,
but,
we'll
but
go.
I'll make sure your tickets are free. So you don't need to
Okay.
actually. You know what? Don't even bother about registering. I'll just take care of it. So
Okay, and then just let us know what you need from us on that. And everyone, look in the show notes. There'll be a means for contact and all that stuff in the show notes. And
And go follow their Facebook page,
Yeah.
their Instagram page. If you have any questions, I'm sure that they could reach out to you guys by messenger. Or
yeah, and there's some really good things out there too. Like even if you're not with us, Paul Welsh, even he has one, Paranormal Veracity, I believe. I think it's an online magazine now, isn't it? But he's been he's not living here anymore, but he's just been such a great help for all of Utah. And so there's so many resources out there, even if it's not us.
that's fantastic.
yeah.
And and it's a big world. We can all work together.
Oh yeah.
There's more. I'm sorry, but you're not gonna
You
have
can't
every
corner the
single
market.
yeah,
Yeah.
every single house is yours. No, but we're more than even some of our house cases. I've said, hey, this is beyond what we can do.
The
We've done
sharks
all we
and
can
the
do,
jets out there
pass
on the
it
street.
on. That's the main thing is if you can't do what you set out to do, pass it on, and don't have any ill will or feelings if they try to use somebody else.
I like that you
Sure.
guys go out and you're helping people.
We try.
You go out. Well, I mean, if they're even trying, that's
Yeah.
helping people.
Yeah. Yeah.
At
Because
least
honestly,
listening.
where else do they go?
Yeah.
Like, hey, I'm having these experiences. And like you said, everyone in their normal life either doesn't believe them or is like, yeah, that's not happening.
So
Have you talked to a psychiatrist?
That's the worst, yeah.
So
when you guys go, scarves, beads, lots of stuff. Have you thought about a top hat and a dark overcoat?
Are you talking about our ghost outfits? Or what?
Yeah, jump in there.
Oh
Really,
no, I'm going full haute couture. Oh.
really sell this. Lots of. You need to go. Lots of scarves and jewelry and beads. I mean,
No. I want to be like,
Do you have a midget?
I have a new body.
Oh,
No.
go directly to the light.
That's awful. No.
You can tell most of my stuff comes from movies. Shocking.
I don't know. I kind of laugh because I tell like Ryan, like, I'm gonna come see you tonight at like 3 a.m. Expect me there, kind of a thing. But it's astral travel, and I'm like, I'm gonna be wearing like the most gorgeous gown you've ever seen. Like, he's like, is that what's going on? Like, you're waking me up. I tell him the weirdest
Why
thing.
am I awake?
Oh.
What's going on?
Well, that's cool. I'm excited. And
I do that.
if any of our listeners have, like if you've been experiencing some weird things, and I know several of our listeners have, because they reach out to us and they're like, hey, we want to come and talk about this or that. And definitely reach out to these guys. Maybe they can.
And like Sarah said, we don't have all the answers, but we do know a lot of people. And if we can't necessarily answer something for you, we can definitely try and get you in touch with people that can help you.
If
or
nothing
might have
else,
more answers.
just feeling like you've been validated. Like,
Just someone
lots of people
listening to you.
experience this.
Exactly.
is huge, especially if if you truly believe that this is happening to you. And like I said, Lisa's sister, I watched her she suffered. And she suffered in large part because a lot of the people in her life just, blew it off. But it was so real for her that, it was real. I mean, as far as perception goes, perception is everything. And it was real for her. Yeah. Cody says, I've locked the porcelain dolls in the chest. I do. I have Cody's great-great-grandmother's porcelain dolls. They're terrifying. I've locked them up.
I used to get those every Christmas from my grandparents, my dad's parents, and they always gave me the creeps.
Yeah, I lock them
up. You can't
up.
play with them. I'm sorry. When you're 2, 5, 10, you can't play with these dolls. They just break. You just got to look at them looking back at you.
My sister collected those as I was growing up, and I never went in her room.
Yeah.
The best those, I would break their legs, and my mom would put a little bandage on it, so it become now like the disabled doll.
It's coming down the hallway at you.
I broke them all the time. I was I was a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, they were so fragile. Yeah.
I will say too, if you've come to us and we're saying, hey, we've talked to you, we've had some other people out here to talk to you, we're all coming to the same conclusion that maybe you do need to get some therapy, you need to get some help.
Yeah, you could be manifesting this.
We're not saying it because we hate you or anything. We're just saying it because, we want you to make sure you're at your best. And that's, mind, body, soul, it's all connected. And
yeah,
if one area is failing, and definitely, and I want to stress this a lot, if you are not in the best mental health possible, do not come to one of our events, because I don't want you taking home anything happening to you, anything happening to your loved ones. I think that needs to be said more, and not enough people talk about it. They just say, come on out and give us your money. And no, I will not. This field is not for anybody who's struggling. So
that's important to put out there.
Jared's going to need to wear like a full protective suit so he doesn't bring something home.
Well, I'm just conning someone else into touching this stuff. Have someone behind me, arms coming through under my arms. You feel anything?
Do you feel anything?
No. They'll be like wearing my pant. They'll be inside my pant legs and under the shirt.
Yeah, very fun. Very fun stuff.
And I would say too, like if you've had a lot of cleansings on yourself and the cleansings aren't doing any good, there is probably something else you need to be doing that's more within that range also of getting yourself some additional medical help, because we can only do so much. I can only sage you and put some crystals around you, and our Father art thou. Like there's only so much I can do. There's only so much anybody in this field can do. If somebody just comes to your house and says, I walked in and guess what, it's gone now,
Yeah.
Ask questions. How did you get rid of it? What did you use? What did those? That's what you're telling me this is. Look up what they did. Verify, the ingredients they used weren't for some sort of, I don't know, hex or something else, because all of it has meaning. There is meaning in everything. There's energy in everything. And so.
Yeah. It was interesting to me when I was doing the kitchen witchery show, just how the things are put together, the spell jars and such, and pretty interesting stuff.
I was my mom and I, so I told you we went to Montana. We went to the Little Bighorn, and she's walking around the cemetery, and she goes, I keep finding these coins everywhere. She's picking them up, and I'm like, no, Mom, put them back. Put them back. And she's like, well, I kept that one. I'm like, nope, put it back.
Oh, my gosh. Oh.
She's like, but it's money. I was like, nope. You don't know why
Were
they
they
did that.
old coins?
It's because a lot of time in spellcraft, what they'll do is for protection, you'll go and get dirt from somebody who was, let's say, a cop that had passed, or military personnel that's passed. And so because their energy is still in that spirit of protection, they'll make special protection salts and things, and they'll say, hey, please, I'm here. I know I'm invading on your territory. Please accept this coin as part of.
So they go in, take
payment.
some dirt to get some of the GI.
Not some of the GI. I wouldn't say they're getting the dirt to get some of the GI, but I think that there's energy within the essence of the dirt.
Okay, but then to apologize for digging a hole above them.
And a lot of times it's not even taking it. It could even just be, we just want to say thank you for allowing us on the property, and they'll leave a coin.
Oh.
So there's different
So she was
things.
stealing from
Little
Bighorn ghosts. Guy showing up with
I
the
didn't-
bushy mustache and long flowing hair.
I didn't realize though that a lot of those stones, they weren't all, from current old military. They were like a lot more of them were current than you would think.
I'm sure it's still a military cemetery.
Well, yes, that is true.
Just like here, if you're in Utah, you go to Camp Williams.
They do burials every day,
Yeah.
all day
So
long out there.
sad. And, thank you to anybody who is doing any sort of, whether it's Air Force, military, police, firemen. I
I like
care.
how she didn't say Air Force and military in the same sentence. It's outstanding. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you. And especially healthcare workers, you're getting the brunt of a lot of it, and police.
It's a weird time right now.
Yeah.
Are you finding that there is a shift kind of in the
Zeitgeist?
in the zeitgeist right now?
I mean, there is a shift anytime a new political force is about to happen, whether it stays the same or anything, but people trying to change it or whatever movement is happening. So, I mean, we're at that 4-year mark where it's just bound to.
Yeah, everything's unrest.
Boiling over.
Yeah. And even teachers, I forgot to mention, you guys are doing a great job out there with your hardships of parents having to teach their kids, even through, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine. What do you mean you don't learn cursive now? I tried doing some of that math, and I'm like, why are they doing it so hard? Just do division the normal way.
Yeah, I feel you. I'm homeschooling right now. 2 elementary school students.
Yeah.
Oh, help me.
Have you ever done where they say, are you smarter than the 5th grader
Yeah,
back in 1900?
I'm not.
Oh my gosh. I am so dumb compared to that.
What was it? The Macmillan test? I read through that. That was impressive. The 8th grade test from Macmillan.
Yeah.
It's impressive.
Yeah.
They knew a lot about civics and
They don't teach that
geography.
anymore.
No, I had a cousin back in the early 2000s, and she didn't have any clue. She's graduating high school, no clue of who Hitler was, World War II. I'm like, what are they teaching you? And this is California, so.
Oh, never mind.
So who knows?
No,
but
my kids are learning cursive. They're unimpressed so far, but they're learning it.
I actually have my
Welcome
own,
to homeschool.
Welcome to homeschool.
I have a cursive and handwriting mix, and I used it to make my own font. And people are like, "Why are you trying to kill my eyes?" They can't read. They have no understanding of how to read my phone font, and it's great. I can have very clear messages about
cryptid.
sex or anything else, and nobody would know because they can't read it
comes
but me.
across interesting sometimes.
You're,
What the hell is she talking about?
Yeah, because I like to screenshot it and send it. It's great.
I dig it. Well, we better close the show down now. We've kept you hostage for 2 hours, but thank you so much for
Oh,
coming
thanks
on.
for having us.
Yeah.
yeah, this is a fun show. This is
Oh,
I know
I
I
have
talk
so
a
many
lot
questions.
about running, and
and
if
he
something
will.
ever happened, but yeah, I'm deadly serious. I'd run, but I enjoy.
Push your sister over and
I-
keep going. Is that what's
He would
you
hold
know-
me as a human shield.
Well, it's kind of the bear design. I just need to run faster than one of you. That's
have to be
it.
fast. I just have to be faster than you.
Yes.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's
I'd be
right.
so mad if you left me behind.
Oh, trust me, you'd be way faster than me, so we're all good.
I just shoot at that look.
I mean,
Gets
I
me out of
got
every
a
parking
pretty good
ticket.
trip game, I think.
Yes, you do.
But yeah, and if you guys ever see me running,
Try to keep up.
join in.
Yeah.
Always on the. You know what? If you do that at Benson, I mean, I will just die seeing who starts following.
You know, I'm telling you right now, if we're inside and go, oh look, it's over there, you're gonna hear the doors go because I'm gone. I might say, oh, that's neat, as I run away over my shoulder.
Take a picture of that for
Yeah.
later. Thanks.
I'll be out in the car texting. So it's
Did you make
okay.
it yet?
But
Did
Yeah.
you see that?
That'll be fun. You'll have to let us know. Can we bring, mics and cameras and things for that?
Yeah. So there's a big picnic table. You can stay there. You can go. There's the schoolhouse. It's a little bit tight. It's hot. There's cabins. There's the barn.
We need to get our ghost hunting
mill.
kit ordered.
yeah, I'll get on that. I'll get on the ghost hunting kit, and maybe we'll just do a quick podcast from there, afterwards. Gather.
And and your phone, just so people know, your phone works good. It has its own audio. It and I like to just use mine, and I use Audacity, which is a free thing, and I try to edit out some stuff and slow it down. I don't like to slow down and speed up.
No, the more
Yeah.
the more original the audio is, without tampering it, if you can hear something or something's caught, it's more verifiable. I can't think of the actual word that I'm trying to use. Versus playing with the gain, slowing it
Yeah,
down,
yeah.
things like that. I mean, we do that, but the louder it is, the clearer it is with an original audio file or anything, just makes it that much more legit.
For sure.
Perfect.
For sure. Well, I'm excited. We're going to put all the links up on the show
Yeah.
and on the show notes. So if they go through either podcatcher, YouTube, or just come to our Facebook page, all the links will be there to you guys and everything else.
Yeah, and please reach out. Anybody, we love answering questions. I am really good about replying to emails.
Quick. She got back to me really
Because I'm
fast.
talking to him on the phone already, so it's just like, oh, what's this?
It was like
Is
5
this
minutes.
a pervert? Okay, that's 9 times out of 10 my reaction.
Yeah,
Is
that's
this a pervert? What's going on?
that seems to be a common thing, though. Men, get better. Come on, you don't have to send pictures of your body parts to people.
Yeah, that's
Yeah,
not the
I'm
best
sorry. I don't even want to
route.
see it when I want to see it. So please don't.
Yeah, but men need to get better. I know we do. I'll stop. Okay. But thanks so much, and join us next week. We're talking to Kelly, and we're in the season, so it's going to be
Yeah.
mostly scary stuff. The conspiracies will have to wait.
Yes.
But do
Awesome.
they?
Oh, there's going on all the time.
Oh, jeez.
We won't be chatting about them. But anyways, thanks again so much, you
Yeah,
guys.
anytime.
This was
It's
great.
A little bit of a drive, but more than fun.
Yeah. Well, hopefully next time, maybe we'll come in and meet one of you guys at a class or something else.
Yeah, that'd be
You know.
super fun. We only have 2 more left for the whole year, but
Okay. Perfect. All right. Thanks for joining us, everyone.
Yeah,
and
thank
we
you.
will see you next week.
Have a great week.
not a sign of a human. Why does it feel still? Not a sign of a human.